Hello, everyone. I'm happy to see you here in this Saturday to improve in your career and to get better. Uh, I'm very happy that I have here Thiago. And Thiago did the Challenger Developer Mentorship with me. Uh, he had very good results, and um, he is also a senior software engineer at Albay, and um, he is he's very passionate about clean code and good programming practices, and he's been rocking and having incredible results in his career. So, how are you, Thiago? Do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello, Rafael. Hello, everyone. Yes, it's basically that. Thank you for the presentation. Um, and it's that I really like clean code. I really like best practicals. If you have any questions about this subject, here everyone can send me a message. I will help. And I think in the end of this presentation, I can say a little about how my career changed with this mentorship.
Amazing, amazing, Thiago. Thanks so much for being here and accepting this challenge because I know it's not easy to give a talk. Yeah, I know it's very challenging, mostly in the beginning. But as you give talks, it's getting easier and easier. But I know it's still very challenging. So, congratulations for your bravery to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's not very easy, but you helped me a lot.
Thank you. Awesome. Um, Okay, guys. So, can you say hi and just say where you're from, um, so that we can,
Okay, guys. So
so that I can just get to know you a little bit better. Just say hi in the chat. Um, if you want, you can tell one of your biggest career challenges. We can discuss them very quickly. Um, don't feel shy. You can just say hi, and then can at least I can get to know a little bit better. Um, I know it's difficult, guys, to be here in Saturday, but uh, you can say hi, and I can. Then we can have a quick conversation. Then we can go to the presentation. If we don't see any messages in the chat, we're gonna have to get started with the presentation.
just,
Um,
just before that, one thing that I think it's very important, and I learn a lot with you, it's take action. So yeah, it's not simple, but do that. This make a lot of difference.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the most important things because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't take action, nothing happens. So now is your chance to take a simple action, like just to send a message, and then we can have a quick chat here. Oh, okay, I see it here. Alexandre, nice to see you, man. You can even join us if you want, by the way. Uh, Mohassin, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Hello from Atlanta. Nice to see you. Um, and who else is here? Um, no one. If you don't send another message, we can get started. And by the way, Alexandre, if you want to join us, um, feel free to join us. Um,
Thank you, Alexandre.
I will send a direct message to Alexandre. If he can join us, it's great. If not, it's okay also. Okay, so we have now we have 5 minutes in our webinar, and let's see if we have more people in the audience. Oh, hello, Igor from Dublin. Yeah, Igor is gonna give a talk also today. Okay, so Alexandre will be the audience today. Okay, it's okay, Alexandre. But you're welcome to join us, by the way. Okay, so it's 6 minutes already, so I'll get started. Let me share my screen. Just a minute. Okay, can you see my screen? You can, right? Okay, then. So welcome everyone to the Challenger Developer webinar. And today I'm going to be talking about the principles to boost your career. It's not only technical knowledge that will take you to the next level, but there are other principles involving your career growth, okay? So before everything, it's very important for you to take notes, to take some kind of action. Otherwise, it's very difficult for us to learn something passively. So if you can take a note or do anything that will help you to keep the knowledge, that will be better. So what we're going to explore here, we're going to be talking about how to get clarity, because I know it's very difficult for developers to know what to do or what to study, because there are so many things that they are in the market that it's very difficult to know what exactly to be good at. We're going to be discussing a little bit about no bugs, how to learn more quickly technology, how to boost your CV. We're going to be talking a little bit about effective communication. How can you communicate in a clear way? We're going to be talking also briefly about how to negotiate your salary, how to give talks, and why sharing knowledge is important. So this is step 1, no procrastination, and the challenge 1, get clarity. So the first question you have to make to yourself is, what is your dream? Is your dream something related to work for a big company or to go abroad to another country? What is your dream? You also have to keep in mind that dreams are different than goals. So a dream is a long-term goal. It's something that you have to take consistent actions until you get there. It's not something that will happen overnight. It will take consistency and strategic work, where you can build up your skills to get where you want. And goals are just the small goals that you can accomplish, for example, daily. A goal could be, for example, I'm going to study containers for 1 hour on Monday, or I'm going to study Java streams 30 minutes on Tuesday. And then those small goals are the key for you to achieve a dream or a bigger goal. And what happens if you don't have a dream? You have to reflect to yourself to understand what are your dreams exactly. Sometimes you can just take a walk on your own, preferably in nature, because our mind would just be more more calm and relaxed and more clear when you walk in nature. So it helps you to think like, okay, like what are exactly my goals? What are exactly my dreams? And then even if you don't have a dream, you can get one. Um, and of course, when you achieve one dream, we can always have others. For example, I had the dream of working in Europe. Nowadays, I have other dreams, and then it just goes on, and that's okay. It's just it's a way for you to motivate and to keep growing. Um, and like I said before, a dream is a long-term objective, so it's not something that will happen overnight. It will take consistent work. That's why consistency is so important. Um, and Consistency is very related and connected to discipline. And what basically it means to do something you want to do so that you can accomplish your goal, even if you don't feel like doing it. I know this is hard, this is difficult, um, but of course, you don't need to start doing like very big things in the beginning. You can build up your consistency over time. Um, and like I said already, to achieve a dream, consistency is the key. So a big dream will not be achieved without consistency. Okay, so, and what are the dream killers? When we have too many plans, it usually takes to no action because there are so many plans. We get so overwhelmed just to see this amount of like this huge amount of plans that we usually don't take any action. So it's better to have a more focused plan, a more specific plan, so that you can take strategic actions to get where you want. Not knowing where to start. Um, Again, this is connected to have many plans because if you have too many things to focus, you will end up focus on nothing. So be careful with having too many plans. Have one specific plan so that you can focus your energy on this thing. If you don't have daily habits, it's more difficult to get to what you want. Um, and Like you don't need to do the work every single day, but the consistency is the most important thing. Like if you decide, okay, I'm gonna do something one day, uh, I'm gonna do something the other day I won't, and so on and so forth. It should be okay. Also, doesn't mean you have to do something daily. It just means that you have to be consistent on your plans. Sometimes you have a lot of excuses, right? We have the excuse that I think one of the most common excuses are that we have no time, and everyone has 24 hours in the day. Like, so when we say no time, what this means exactly? It means your priorities. So what are you prioritizing? Are you prioritizing like social media, Netflix, or uh, studying the thing you need, or um, writing your articles, or writing your book, or doing whatever it takes to you to go to the next level? So we have to be careful when we have those excuses, because if we have those excuses, it's just the story we are telling ourselves just to stay where we are and not do anything and not take any action. So there are a lot of other excuses, like we can say like that we didn't have enough education. We can say that we don't have enough money. We can say that we didn't do the necessary courses. We can say that um, my childhood was difficult, so I can't be better. So we can have millions of excuses, and the danger of those excuses is that it becomes the story we have, and we're going to believe in this story. And what's going to happen is that we won't take action to change and to go to the next level. So it's important for us to um, try to think better, like, are those things an excuse, and why is it an excuse? And we also have limiting beliefs. So I can give you one example, um, because early in my career, I thought that I would never be able to give a talk because um, other people, my colleagues always said that I was very technical, so I wouldn't be able to give a talk or do anything else that wasn't technical. And I had to break this belief from others, and also break this belief that I had. Like, and it was just a limiting belief. It was something that was in my mind, right? Um, but then I took the action, and I started giving talks uh, in my job, and I started building up this skill, because in the end, giving talks is just a skill. Um, and when you have this skill refined, you can empower other people, you can help other people, so you can do a lot. So um, I also had a limiting belief that I could never give a talk, but I had to break my limits, had to break this limitation I had, and then nowadays I can give talks. I give talks to amazing conferences already, and it's easier to me to give talk. And well, the point is just to say to you that if I got it, if I broke this limiting belief, you can also break your limiting beliefs. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. And how to find out about your dreams? Like I said before, you can just ask yourself what would be amazing to help to happen in your life. Um, like, what are what would be the best achievement you could ever have in your career? Is it to live abroad? Is it to work for the big companies? Is it to just work remotely, where you have freedom to travel and do whatever you want, um, without having to go to the office? It doesn't matter. Like, you have to think about your dream. It doesn't have to be the same dream I have. It has to be your dream. And you can also reflect about your life and ask yourself, why not you? Because so many people achieved so many great things, and you can just ask, why not you? Right? And there's no problem on being ambitious, because if you are ambitious, what will happen is that you just create more value, um, which is totally different than greed. So why not you? Like, why not bring more value? And find out what are your passions and motivations, because if you know what you really like to do, it's going to be easier for you to pursue bigger things. Okay. So you can also write down what are your biggest dreams for your personal, professional, and financial area. So on your personal area, could be like planning to buy a house or to have a family, something like that. Your professional area could be uh, like changing career, or going to a company you like. In financial is basically how much you would like to be earning in the future. And then if you write those down, what happens is that you're far more likely to achieve um, those goals because you wrote it down, you made it concrete. So it's easier for you to um, know what to do to get there. And you can even go further. You can even imagine what is the ultimate level you imagine yourself. You can write it down with as much details as possible because if you do that, you're gonna be preparing your subconscious mind to believe that okay, I can reach this ultimate level. It's just a matter of taking consistent actions um, that it will happen. Okay, challenge 2, create smarter goals. And before creating your goals, you have to develop yourself on the journey. Otherwise, it will be impossible for you to be consistent and persistent. Um, so, what does that mean? It means that like you have to work um, on your mindset. You have to work um, on your way to see the world. You have to work on your health. Also, your health will help you on your day-to-day work and motivation. And whatever you do in your life, you have to play full out and go all in. So, what do I mean by that? It means that, for example, when you do something that is mundane, like tying up your bed or washing the dishes or whatever you're doing, try to do your best. Why? Because this is like everything you do um, will will help you to have this mindset of okay, like everything I do, I will just do the best as I can. And on the other hand, if you do something, even tying up your bed, if you tie up your bed like in a way that um, it's not well done, what's going to happen is that this behavior might uh, be replicated to the important things on your job, for example. So it's important to have this mindset to do your best in whatever you are doing. Because if you have this mindset of playing full out in everything you do, you're going to naturally get better in all of those skills you are practicing. And success starts within you, not outside. I know that many people uh, think that success come from the outside, come from the approval from others, but it doesn't. It will start within you because if you are focusing too much on the external, what's going to happen is that you are giving too much power to the external, and they might just knock you down very easily if you don't build up a foundation in yourself. So you have to start building the success within you, not externally. Externally, if you give too much power to the external, what's going to happen is that you're going to be just knocked down very easily. So it's important for you to um, reinforce your mindset, your soul set, your heart set, and your health set. So um, if you are working on yourself consistently, um, the external won't have so much power over you. Yeah, I mentioned briefly to you what are those four interior empires. These I learned from Robin Sharma. I highly recommend his content also. It's very good. But I can briefly explain here what is this concept explained by Robin Sharma. Um, so basically, the first pillar for you to really make the difference is health sets, because without health we can't do really anything. So what does that mean? Like, how can you be healthy? Like, you can do basic stuff, like you can do exercise at least 3 days a week. You can do something that you enjoy. You like don't need to go to the gym necessarily. You can run, you can walk, you can do martial art, you can dance. you can play a sport, you can do whatever you want. If you do that at least 3 times a week, your health will for sure improve. Um, and eat well, what does that mean? It means that try to balance your diet. You don't need to have a very strict diet, but you can balance it. Yeah, you can balance it like by not eating too much junky food or by not eating too much sweets. So you can basically have a balanced diet also. And water is so important. If you can have like from 1 liter to 2 liters a day, that will massively help you on your health. And hard set. What is hard set? Is to let go disappointments from the past. Because if you hold those disappointments, what's going to happen is that it's going to be draining your energy to accomplish big things. So it's important for you to let it go, because then you can use your full energy on what is important for you. And soul set. Soul set is, well, basically like if you have a religion or if you have anything that you can work on your soul set, and that will help. And it's also like basically living for a cause that's greater than yourself. Then if you can reach at that level, you're going to be working on your soul set. um, and Then we have mindset, of course. Mindset, how can you improve your mindset? You can, there's so many powerful books that will help you to fortify your mindset, well, to have the right psychology when challenges come. You're going to have the right psychology to face difficult challenges. Okay, so if you are working on those areas, it's going to help you a lot. Eliminate limiting beliefs. Like I did when I thought I couldn't give a talk, I eliminated this belief. How did I do that? I started small. I gave a small talk in my job, and I built up my my confidence on giving talks. And don't say negative things about yourself, because sometimes you say something that it might just uh, bring a negative things to you, like and sometimes it might seem silly. You can say, oh, I'm so stupid, oh, I'm so dumb. And if you say that consistently, what's going to happen is that you're going to program your subconscious mind to believe that, okay, you're really dumb. So even if you do that in a playful way, just be careful, because if you do that consistently, the subconscious mind don't care if you are saying that in a playful way. It's going to stick in your subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is 80% more powerful than our conscious mind. So it's important for you to program yourself for success instead. And you have to train your mindset consistently. How can you do that? You can keep reading personal development books. I use Audible from Amazon, and it works very well to me. You could do the same. Create smarter goals. So what is that? It means that the goal has to be specific. Like I can give you an example here. To get a job in Ireland, you send CVs to companies in Ireland. Measurable, you can do that 15 minutes every day. Actionable, you can go to LinkedIn or Stack Overflow and just do it. Risky, from every 10 CVs you send, you have 2 opportunities. Time keyed, 3 months doing it. Feeling alive, you're talking in English, you are talking to other cultures. And relevant, because if you go to another country, of course it will change your whole life. I don't think we're gonna have time to take a look at the Challenger Planner, so we better continue here. Learning quickly. So how can you learn more quickly something? You can look at the big picture. You can check the table of contents from book. You can check Wikipedia about the topic. You can search for quick tutorials on YouTube. And you can also write down important points from the big picture. Um, so, for example, let's suppose you want to learn Java. You can define the scope that you're going to create a small application that will create, update, delete, and read registers. And you can also define an approximate time to accomplish um, whatever is your plan. So if you decide that you're going to create this small web application in 1 month, you should stick to this time, to this deadline, and define how many hours a week you're going to dedicate to it. So um, I don't know, you might dedicate 3 hours, um, 5 hours, like how many hours it suits you. Define success goals, like what would be a success for you when you are learning a new technology. For example, if you're learning Docker, it could be, oh, I want to be able to Dockerize a Java and with MongoDB application, or I would like to deploy a containerized application in the cloud, or I would like to run a Dockerized Java application in the cloud. So there are many success goals you can define for yourself, and you can use those things, those this principle to learn technology faster, and get the knowledge from different resources, because that will help a lot you. So if you get content from books, articles, tutorial videos, even in pair programming, like if you do pair programming, you're going to learn from the other developer. Looking at source code, that also helps. Podcasts, you can even have a conversation with a friend. You can do courses, you can read documentation, you can do whatever you prefer, and it's better for you actually if you mix those resources to learn something new. Challenge for boost your CV. So how can you boost your CV? First, you have to understand the market. So you have to understand what the market wants. For example, if you have a technology that no one cares anymore in your CV, no one will care, right? So, for example, nowadays, I think more than 92% of the companies are using microservices, which means that this is very important nowadays to know the basic principles of microservices, and that will help you on your CV. And figure out what are the hot technologies. You can easily figure this out by looking the job descriptions. You're gonna see there probably, well, a lot of microservices knowledge. You're gonna see maybe Spring a lot, maybe Drop Wizard, Quarkus. If you are looking for a job working with Java, otherwise you're gonna see Python or Go or Scala. You're gonna see many programming languages that are hot in the market, and basically aim your CV to what the market wants. So if the market wants microservices, if the market wants for you to have knowledge about how to scale your system, you aim your CV to those areas. And nowadays, for example, well, other than understanding the market and understanding how to aim your CV to what the market wants, it's impossible. It's important also for you to understand how the interview process works. For example, here in Europe, in Ireland specifically, it's very common that the companies are asking for you to solve algorithm problems, even some API designs, and they are also asking a lot about system design. And they ask system design questions, very in a way that's very focused on microservices. So I would say that nowadays it's important for you to have cloud computing knowledge. And how can you get better? How can you get your profile better on LinkedIn? Um, you can choose the keywords to where you want to work. So, for example, if you want to work with as a Java software engineer, you can put there on your profile title that you are uh, Java software engineer, or that, for example, if you have a book, you can put there that you are a book author, and then you can make your profile stand out, and therefore you're gonna have the attention from many companies. And in the main section of LinkedIn, you can put your biggest highlights there. You can put like how many years of experience do you have, because I think that's very valuable to the market. Like experience will show to the market that you can accomplish complex things because you've been through a lot. You can create high quality software. And well, basically try to use numbers there. If you can use number, if you can show some kind of result you had on previous companies in this about section, that will be perfect, because then you can show very clearly what kind of value you could provide before. And if you could provide this value before, it's gonna this means is that you can provide the same value or even better to the other company, to the future company you're going to be working on. And it's also important for you guys to put a photo that you are smiling on LinkedIn. Why? Because if you are smiling, you are more reachable. People will reach out to you more easily. And if you are always like very serious or frowning on your photo, what's going to happen is that chances are that fewer people will reach out to you. So you can just hire a professional photographer and take a nice picture. You can say, oh, I want this picture. I want to be smiling in this picture. And that will make a big difference for you. And pick a technology t-shirt for the picture, or if you prefer a smart shirt is okay, but like for software engineers it really doesn't matter if you're wearing a t-shirt or a smart shirt or a suit, whatever you think it suits you better. You can also use the principle of reciprocity here. This is a principle that works every area in life, but I can give you a specific sample to get a recommendation. So how this principle work exactly? So it's very easy actually. You select someone who you trust, select someone who you know that does a good job, and you recommend this person. You give a nice recommendation to this person, and then you say, oh, by the way, if you could give me a recommendation back, I would appreciate. If not, it's okay. It's important to have the mindset of being a giver, because if you give something expecting something back, you are not giving it, you're trading it. So don't feel annoyed if the person doesn't give you the recommendation back. It's okay, like you are giving it, right? But chances are that the person will give you a recommendation back, because it's the law of reciprocity. And if you gave a very nice recommendation to the other person, chances are that the other person will give you a nice recommendation back. Okay, so challenge 5, negotiating your salary. So your first mission when you are negotiating your salary is to figure out how much to ask. And how can you do that? You could take a look at Glassdoor. Even though Glassdoor is not so accurate, because I think there are many people who lie in their salary. Like you can basically guess that the salary they people put in Glassdoor is maybe 20 to 30% less than what the real market is paying. Uh, I think there is a new website called I think it's Leveling, something like that, that gives you a more precise salary, but still I don't think it's so precise. Um, you can also ask your friends. Um, so if you're asking a friend of yours that's very close, you can just make a direct question. But if you're making this question to someone who is not so close to you, you don't need to ask directly about their salary. You can ask, "Oh, by the way, um, I'm doing a research in the market, and I would like to know what is the range of salary from someone of your experience. What is the range of salary the market's paying from someone of your experience?" You can ask like that. You can also ask recruiters uh, if they are your friends. Like it's a little bit complicated because, of course, they are negotiating with you, so it's not so reliable to ask recruiters, but it's an extra source. Um, you can figure out how much to ask, and um, you can also like look for opportunities on LinkedIn. You can use brute force also. Like if you get a proposal on LinkedIn, you can just put a crazy value that is high and see what happens. And then you're gonna be using brute force to feel how much the market's paying. Uh, and if you're gonna easily notice how much the market's paying, because if you say a value that's too high, the recruiter might not even continue the conversation with you, and then you're gonna say, okay, this is too high, so I'm gonna go a little bit lower. This is the brute force approach. You can use it to learn how much the market's paying, and this is, I think, this is a very accurate. Well, if of course this is a negotiation also, um, but this is, I would say, a little bit more precise for you to figure out how much you ask. Once you get the interview and everything, your mission is to drive up your value to the company's eyes. So, what can you do? You can show maturity in the way you communicate. You can show that you're highly skilled. You can show the value you can add to the company. So, if you see that the company has a problem, that they have a monolith and they are migrating this monolith to a microservices architecture, you can maybe tell them the experience you had in previous projects on how you helped the company before to migrate a monolith to the microservices architecture. And then what's going to happen is that you're going to be showing the value you can add to the company, and that will convince more easily the interviewers that you should be working for them and making a difference there. So if you can show that, like, don't forget that an interview, it's a selling, right? You're basically selling yourself. So you are the product and you're selling yourself. Basically, you're gonna have to tell the things that you did that had a big impact, and you can align those situations you had in previous companies to the problems of this company, right? In the negotiation, probably the very first thing recruiters will ask you is about your salary. And what I always recommend developers to not reveal your salary. Why? Because you're going to be in disadvantage in the negotiation process. And if you review your salary, you're gonna get, I don't know, 15% max more, something like that. Um, and the negotiation will be entirely based on your salary. So it won't matter if you had an amazing performance in the interview, if you were better than all other uh, candidates, it won't matter. What will matter is the number you gave. And the whole negotiation will be based on the number you gave. So be careful with that. And nowadays, it's not even um, allowed anymore for recruiters to ask you this information. So if they ask you, you can just say, "Oh, sorry, it's confidential for because of NDA reasons." Uh, um, okay. Um, Thiago, do you want to say something about negotiation, what you learned, and how it helped you?
Yes, I can say some words. About negotiation, for me at least, helped me a lot. I have already gotten a good pay raise, and not just about the negotiation, but the CV too. I boost my CV, I update my LinkedIn, and I'm receiving a lot of opportunities, more than 10 per week. And now I'm using what you said. I'm using the brute force to know a little about how it's how is the price here in
Mm-hmm.
Lisbon. So it's that. It's
Amazing.
it.
Amazing.
You give a lot of tips in this lesson, and it's things that some things we maybe know, but you don't apply. And after this lesson, for me at least, make more easier to apply.
Amazing. Thanks, Thiago, for talking about your experience. And let's continue. So, communicating effectively. So, why communication is so important? Well, Warren Buffett says that if you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark, nothing happens. Um, and the other quote he has is that if you can't communicate and talk to other people and get across your ideas, you're giving up on your potential. So, if Warren Buffett is saying that, it's because communication is a powerful thing, right? For example, for us as software engineers, we have to be constantly convincing the team that a solution we are implementing will be good for the project. And how can you do that? Only by communicating your idea clearly. So, what is the process of communication? Uh, so, for example, here there is a sender. So, we're going to send the message. It's going to be encoded to the message, and it's going to be the receiver. So, if you're talking to someone from another culture, something you said might mean something completely different. Uh, so how can you make sure that the message you sent to the other person is the correct one? You can ask for feedback. So basically, you can ask to the person, "Oh, is this is this what you understood? If it is, then you're gonna make sure. Okay, this is the information I tried to pass that I sent to this person. And of course, there is noise. There will be other people talking, depending on the environment you are, or there will be traffic jam, noises. So there will be many things happening where you are communicating. So what are those 10 tips to communicate well? Present yourself well. So how can you do that? You can wear a nice clothes that suit you. Uh, so it's important to have clarity on topic. So um, try to use simple words instead of using complex words. That will help a lot already. And focus on the topic. If you're talking about something, don't change focus, because if you change focus, you're going to confuse your audience. Deliver the message effectively. And how can you do that? Basically, by being very direct and not making the message complicated. Your body language is very important also. Uh, So it's important for you to like use some of your body language. Like you don't need to do crazy gestures, but like just keep good posture, like look straight, um, and then it's gonna be great already. And check for understanding. So it's what basically we discussed before. So if you're telling something to the other person, you check for understanding and ask appropriate questions. Ask questions that make sense, questions that will take you to somewhere that you think it's important. Have actively listening. This is difficult. Most of the people want to talk over the others. Um, Most people also are thinking about what they are gonna say, um, and basically they don't listen to the other people. But actively listening is one of the most important skills if you want, for example, to be a good leader or even to create amazing things. Like if you have this ability of actively listening, you can do amazing things. And then, like if you're giving a presentation, it's very important for you to give a recap because you talk about so many things in a presentation that if you don't do a recap, it's difficult to um, for the audience to remember everything. And do the closure also. Like you can ask for questions and um, and just close the whole topic and share knowledge. So why should we share our knowledge? Because if we share our knowledge, we get the best job opportunities. We also improve in our communication skills. Um, why? Well, because it's like when you're giving a talk or when you're writing a book or writing an article or doing anything that you are communicating, your communication skills will improve. So if you do that consistently, you're gonna get better. Even if you create a course or if you create YouTube videos, you're gonna get better at communication. Um, and when you share your knowledge, you solidify your knowledge. So share your knowledge is by far the ultimate way for you to master any kind of concept. So by sharing your knowledge, what happens is that you fill out the gaps that you have in your knowledge. You also grow as a person because you are able to communicate with other people more clearly. You are able to make people understand you more easily. And communication we use every day, right? We have to talk with our partners. We have to talk with people at our jobs. So constantly we are using our communication skills. So why not improve a skill that you use daily? Why not be very sharp at this skill you use like every day, all the time? And it's also fulfilling. Uh, so when you share your knowledge, you are helping other people and you are empowering other people. And of course, if you are sharing your knowledge, it's important for you to find your focus. With focus, you have less competition. This technique I learned from Bruno Souza, um, which is my mentor, and basically is I help uh, like your audience could be Java developers to do something like to actually is your contribution. Like you can help Java developers to scale their application, for example, so that they get like a better job, so that they get more time to spend with their families. So if you have a focus, it's going to help you to know what to share. My focus phrase, for example, I help Java developers to master the core concepts of Java to code quality software for stress-free projects with fewer bugs. And you can also create a plan to action. So if you plan to create articles, you can create around 20 content titles. Um, and then you can put the work in traction. So if you are able to create at least 20 content titles, it means that you're able to write those articles. And learn how to create and analyze titles. What are those things? It's basically the skill to create a title that will draw attention from other people. You can take a look at this headlines hack book, which is the book of one of the best bloggers in the world. Define how often you're gonna create content, because, like I said to you, consistency is key. So how often you're gonna be sharing your knowledge? Like, you're gonna be doing it daily, weekly, or monthly, whatever it suits you. Okay, let's recap here. So we talked about getting clarity. We talked about like very briefly here, get clarity, like is to figure out what is your dream, what is your long-term goal, and what is important for you to work on. Basically, the one of important points on the get clarity topic is to work on yourself. No bugs. We talked about how to learn technologies more quickly, boosting your CV, how to create your CV in a way that the market wants, effective communication. You can improve your communication skills by giving talks or creating courses or writing books, writing articles, writing emails. In The more you do communication via anything you want, the more your communication skills get better. Uh, we also talked about negotiating your salary. So how can you negotiate your salary in a way that you can get a fair payment for your work? Uh, we also talked about sharing your knowledge, and we briefly talked about giving a talk, right? So guys, as you are here with me until the end of this webinar, I will invite you to get the Golden Lessons book and have a one-to-one conversation with me, which would be like the Golden Lesson is $10 and the one-to-one conversation is $100. In total would be $110. But as you finish the webinar here with me in this Saturday, I will give you the opportunity to have the book and the one-to-one conversation on this link. And I will just have space for 5 people to talk to me. So if you want to take this opportunity, this is the time to take action, and then we can talk about your career challenges and we can work together to overcome them. So you can get the book for only 4.99, which is just symbolic price. And you can have a conversation with me also. And remembering that I will have only 5 spots. So if you can do it now, that will help you to overcome your career challenges. And in the meantime, Thiago, you can talk about
Yeah.
principles and uh,
Uh,
the things that helped you in your career in the mentorship.
yes, I can. For that, this book, in my opinion, it's a great book. Helped me a lot. There are a lot of tips in this book, and in the mentorship, we learn more about these topics and these lessons. In my opinion, this book it's a very good one. I think it's a book that we should read more than one time. Uh, and about the mentorship, I think, in my opinion, like you said, you have Bruno Souza as a mentor. In my opinion, a mentor it's very important. It's like a personal trainer. We need a mentor if you want to get to the next level. It's basically that. So in my opinion, it's very important. And with a mentor, we have someone to share. And after the mentorship, we have a group, and a group that we can share knowledge. It's like a mastermind group. It's not the same, but it's like one. So everyone share content. So we share stickers, let's say that. Like Alexandre Rocha is in this group. And yeah, it's very grateful. And
Hmm.
it's that. And one important thing, in my opinion, about the mentorship, it's the mentorship gives me a lot of motivation, and I start taking action and making things done. But now, in the end, I just not uh, have motivation, but I have a finger that maybe it's more important, that it's consistency. Now I have consistent and I keep doing things. I have already I gave a talk for my company is here in YouTube. I teach my colleagues. I gave a training, and yeah, I'm growing fast. I write an article, and I'm growing very fast because I'm taking action and being consistent. And Rafael helped me a lot with that.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks a lot, Thiago, for telling that to the audience. And it's amazing your accomplishments, man.
Mm,
And I'm really happy for your growth and um, to see how much you evolved in your career and how much more confident you are in even the way you speak now. So that's great, great achievement. So congratulations for being consistent and to take your career to the next level.
Yes, actually, I have to say thank you because I learned a lot, and just my upgrade raise, my pay raise, it's enough to it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, I have to say thank you. So thank you. And like I said, this book, in my opinion, it's a very very good book. It's very
Um,
easy to read, have a lot of good topics, and it's precise. It's a fast read and a really good one.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your kind words, Thiago, and congratulations for the work you did and for being consistent on your goals and objectives and getting very successful in your career.
Thank you. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone.
So go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yes, thank you, Rafael, and thank you, everyone that's here. Just that. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. So, guys in the audience, if you have any questions about your career or anything you would like to discuss, send your question now, um, because then we can discuss. Like, if you have any questions about the presentation here, feel free to send your question, and then we can address what are your biggest challenges in your career, um, and we can talk about what exactly uh, we can. We can improve here. So take the chance now um, take the chance now to make your question, and then we can address um, whatever question you have. And by the way, we're gonna have the talk of Bruno Souza and Igor very soon. Um, so feel feel free to ask questions to them also. So let me see if we have any questions. Okay, so I can see here Mohammed, Kamala, Chi Reese. I can't read this other name. We have Igor, Mohsen. Do you have any questions, guys? Okay, we have Igor here. Nice. Because if you don't have any questions, uh, Igor will start giving the talk. And I have to say thank you guys to be here in this Saturday because I know um, you could be watching Netflix, you could be playing games, or you could be in the park or doing whatever else, but you are here improving your career, and that's what will make the difference in your career, okay? So if there is no questions now, you can send the questions during the event. It's okay. I will address them. You can ask about career or about any topic um, that we're gonna be talking here in this conference. Um, and that's it, guys. I have to thank you so much. Igor will be very soon here with us. And Thiago, do you want to say bye to everyone?
Yes, just a last tip: buy this book. If you don't, if these lessons, any of these lessons, because it's 100, I think, 100
100,
lessons.
yes.
If any one of these lessons help you and you think you can grow, and you probably can grow a lot with a mentor, you go ahead. Otherwise, you have a really good book. So it's that. Bye, everyone. Thank you, everyone here. And yeah, it's that. If anyone here have some doubts with clean code or best practices and want help, I'm able to talk about. You can search me in LinkedIn or GitHub or any other social medias. It's like here, Thiago Bonfim. Okay,
Perfect.
so it's that. Bye and thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here, Thiago. And I will share with the audience your contact details so that people can reach out to you. And that's it then. Let's now bring Igor to our stream. Hello, Igor. How
Hey,
are you?
how's it going? Can you listen?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
listen.
Hey, how's it going? Hi everyone. How are you
Hello.
guys?
Nice to see you here. So, um, I will introduce quickly Igor. So Igor is a highly skilled software engineer. He's been in the market for more than 15 years. He uh, has been working mostly with Java. Now he's specializing in the area of big data. Um, and he's also very passionate about Kafka. And he's going to be giving a talk about coroutines today, right, Igor?
Yes, exactly.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to this talk, and I'm sure it's gonna be awesome. So let's see this talk then, Igor.
Uh, can you see my share screen?
Yeah, let me just remove myself from the screen. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
now I
Igor,
can see.
the
There
show
is a
is
little bit of
yours.
noise.
The show is
All
yours,
right.
okay?
Thank you for Rafael for the opportunity. Thank you everybody from here. So, hello everyone. My name is Igor de Souza. Uh, I have, as Rafael said, I have a little bit of 15 years or plus experience. Currently, I'm a software engineer in a data engineer team. I usually to put in a big data developer. So I had the opportunity to start to work in big data Hadoop ecosystem from almost from the beginning. It's more around 10 years with Hadoop ecosystems and things like that. There is 6 to 7 years that I play with Kafka, so I suppose to say that I got Kafka on the beginning as well. Uh, at IGFA Souza, you can find me in all social networks. So today, I came with the presentation Loom, Project Loom and coroutines. So the Java hope to not lose the market to functional programs again. So I will try to talk about a little bit of this last 10 years history of Java marketing. I will try to bring the data engineer view. Uh, so not here, anyway, the project alone, we are going to talk about what is, how it works, and I will talk a little bit of Kotlin and Scala, but it's not the point to say that Kotlin or Scala is better than Java and nothing like that. Uh, Project Loom is regarding like a highlight thread. So then we're going to do an overview, like what is a thread, what is a highlight thread, what is a process against threads, and what is the operational system importance, what is the importance of operational system when you do a threads and things like that. Then we are going to talk about streams, like what there is loads of stream, data stream, Java stream, reactive stream, Kafka stream, Spark stream, and loads of stream. So what the heck, or what is the sense of these loads of streams, which means each one's reactive program, the concept of being synchronous and asynchronous, and pros and cons, and then of course coroutines, the flavors of coroutines, and then the project Loom itself. That the one of the things that the project Loom is trying to bring. It's the implementation of coroutines in Java. So currently there is no Java implementation of coroutines. And because yeah, you have a lot of experience or loads of years in the big data, I'm trying to bring this history, the market view, in a data engineer-ish way. So if we back 10 years, big data was like really trending. Big data was everything. And big data came to solve the problems of the data was too big enough that one computer was not able to process in sense of space, in sense of processing and memory. So the idea was parallelize a lot of machines and create kind of a transparent file system that was able to map this. And in a transparent way, you was able to analyze the data, transform and do things almost in real time or faster, or at least was possible to do it because it was not possible to do it in one machine. One of the famous things that Hadoop, the famous frameworks, bring was the MapReduce. So MapReduce was like you divide in several maps, and then you have the reduce phase that combines everything. So 2012, this was really trending. People say that is a pattern, an architecture, or a style of programming, whatever you prefer, doesn't matter. So it was really, really trending. And then the idea was like you have a little bit of code that do some transformations in an easy way. Back in 2012, when it was really high, really trending, Java was on Java 7 without Java strings. Java strings appears on Java 8, and Java 8 came in 2014. So people from the data market or the data ecosystem or Hadoop ecosystem was fighting with loads of codes and doing like nasty codes when you do like a for inside a for inside a for, really nasty codes for doing data manipulation in a really difficult way using Java. So back on the time, Scala was like really shiny, showing the functional paradigms and functional way. And Scala was mature in the time with streams, the implementation of streams. So majority of the projects on the data ecosystem decided to go Scala. And here is not one project, it's almost all projects. Hadoop, Akka, Flink, Spark, Kafka, Storm, Pulsar, and several others. They migrate to Scala. Why they migrate to Scala? Because Scala was with the Java stream, was the stream implementation, was kind of easy to write the code, not nasty, more easy to read and to write. And then if you get the Forbes, Gartner, E3, or several others, you're going to see that from 2014, from 2016, Scala was like top 10 language, and everybody was like, Scala is going to kill Java, Scala is going to kill Java. But on 2014, Java introduced the Java 8, and the Java 8 brings the Java Stream API. So now Java was able to compete with Scala in that sense, in the data transformation scenario or the niche. And what's happened? 2000 took a while for people migrate for Java 8. It's still nowadays we are in Java 17 and loads of people are still on Java 8 or Java 11, but took a while for people migrate to Java 8. But once people start to understand and migrate to Java 8, Scala starts to stop. So people was doing Java, Scala came, everybody changed for Scala. So then Java introduced the Java stream, and then people started to come back to Java. And one really way to see this is, for example, is Kafka. Kafka started on Scala, and after 2 or 3 years of development, they decided to come back to Java. They keep the core in Scala, but all the things are now in Java. And if you check the code, less than 25% is Scala, and the rest are in Java nowadays. And of course, here, if you are in the Scala world, perhaps you're thinking about the 2.22 or 2.23 error for migration to 3. So Scala had a problem from 222, from 223 to 3, the version 3, incompatibility issues and vulnerability issues. And who in the Scala world knows? So I'm trying to don't talk about this problem. And so I'm saying that streaming is the important thing. Even nowadays, so if you in Scala 3, you're not able to use Kafka, you're going to create a really nightmare. And projects like Flink are suffering a lot. Flink is one project that, because of they decide Scala, they are suffering a lot nowadays regarding versions and vulnerabilities and migration, things like that. So Java Stream is considered the biggest improvement of the Java in the last decade. And if you think on the data scenario or the big data scenario niche, was a really, really nice thing. And then the history is repeating itself. I'm seeing the same trend that I saw less than 10 years ago happen again with Kotlin. So people are migrating for Kotlin nowadays. But who is migrating for Kotlin? So nowadays, people who are playing with intensive data stream or data streaming are migrating to Kotlin. And one way to see this is go ahead, search for Kafka jobs, and you're going to see that majority of the companies, majority of the projects are asking Kotlin developers or people who open to learn Kotlin, or if they are not using Kotlin yet, they are thinking and moving to Kotlin. But why? So when you care about a data-intensive applications, you need to handle concurrence more fast. So a thread is not the best option. Reactive program helps a little bit, but not too much. So coroutines, the highlight way of doing the threads, is the solution. So this is not me saying Kotlin is better than Java. This is not me saying that if you're doing data stream, just go for Kotlin. It's completely opposite. I'm just looking to the market. So I saw people migrate from Java to Scala less than 10 years ago, and then back into Java because loads of problems with Scala. Now I've seen people migrate to Kotlin in the data stream world. So Project Loom, it's the Java idea to bring in coroutine implementation inside Java. So this perhaps is going to avoid people to use Kotlin or thinking about Kotlin just because of this. But one thing to realize here is the niche of the market of people who was in 5-10 years ago doing like data transformation perhaps is bigger from the niche of people who doing data stream. But data stream is kind of new concept. It's old. There is 6-7 years already, but it's new in the sense like people start to realize what is now. People start using now. And of course, data is the new oil. The velocity or variety of the data is increasing every year. So you need more data stream. You need more real time. You need coroutine is solution. So far there is no coroutine in Java. So I bring here a kind of a API architecture. Here on the left, you have the front end, doesn't matter the technology. Then you have like the server, could be any Java, Micronaut, Quarkus, Spring, doesn't matter. Then you have your Kafka, could be Kafka streams or not, and then you have the service again. And this could be a kind of elite loop. So I have the data, I do some Kafka, come back here, do some transformations, come back to Kafka here, can be kind of a loop. And then, of course, I can access external applications, or I can write in database and things like that. So the point here is not talk about Kafka Stream, but on Kafka Stream, you have loads of problems, especially when the amount of data is too huge and you need to care about the states, or you need to do the Kafka streams with joins and unions. So it's a really complicated scenario. It's really niche, but you have loads of problems. So what people do here, and the microservice scenario as well. So you end up writing a lot on database, or you end up calling lots of REST interface. Doesn't matter if it's REST interface, if it's GraphQL or it's gRPC, the technology itself doesn't matter. It's like you need to call a server. And when you need to call a server, it's a problem. Imagine you have 100 millions of requests per second. So if you have a monolithic application, if you have just a normal Spring Boot there, hundreds, thousands of requests per second is not going to solve your problem. You can migrate this for a reactive program. It's going to speed up a little bit, but it's not going to solve. You can start to create loads of threads. You're going to end up your heap memory. So there is not a kind of an easy way to do it. Coroutines solve this problem, and you can scale for billions of requests per second. Let's thinking about that. So I'm going to show how to solve this, but let's review some concepts before. The first thing that we want to review here is the thread. Actually, what's the process? What's the thread? So process is, you can see the process as the full program. So a thread is a part of a segment of the program. So then, of course, the thread has some information and the top of the VM. You have the concept of user threads and OS kernel threads. So the user kernels is you care about the code. The OS kernels, the OS kernel threads is that the OS take cares for you. So if you play really nasty with your threads, the OS end up doing some change, especially when you have like threads A and B, and then you have the change, like A stop and you're going to use B. So the OS works for changing the context in memory. So then this spend a lot of memory and change the processor. And then you have the concept of highlight threads, that is the coroutine is green. That is on the top of the top, so you don't have the OS problem, and you don't care about the user, so you kind of use only one thread, and you can change the context. So there is no OS, no virtualization, and things like that. And the coroutines, despite it looks like it's a new concept, it's really old. We're going to talk about. And then there is a lot of flavors. Fibers and generators are the most common ones. And fibers one is what a project Loom is going to implement. So, and about the streams, like what's the difference between all these streams? We have data stream, we have Java stream, we have reactive streams, Kafka stream, Spark stream. Any other data tools has a stream nowadays, and there's loads of streams. Stream itself is a word that doesn't mean too much, so it's complicated to understand. And then majority of the difference is regarding the application pulls the data or push the data. It's kind of push and pull trade-off. And the sense of is synchronous or asynchronous. So let's try to explain. So the first thing to understand is data stream. So what the heck is data stream? So data stream is a sequence of elements. So here you have the idea of the producer and the consumer, but the data stream is a flow, kind of when you open a tap at the water. So you have a sequence of elements, and then that sequence is the data stream, the sequence. And of course, who already know me and follow me knows my LED stripe idea that I presented last year in different talks and Kafka Summit, that I was trying to use the LEDs for explaining the concept of data stream and streaming process and things like that. The other thing that we need to know is Java streams. So Java stream itself is the API. As I said, Java streams appears on Java 9. Java 8, sorry. Java streams, java.util.stream appears on Java 8. And the API that provides the structure, the data structure that you have the sequence of elements. And then you can sort, you can map, you can filter, you can do manipulations on that data. Then on Java 9, you have the concept of Java flow, that is the reactive stream. And the reactive stream that comes from the reactive program, it implements on Java 9, and is the Java flow. So you can think on the widely Java stream in Java 8. It's perfect for processing data streams like a map, reduce, and others. The flow API, that is the reactive stream from Java 9, shines on the communication side, for example, slow, drop, or block, and things like that. So when we talk about streams in Java, it's really confused because we have a Java stream, Java 9, and Java 8, and reactive stream Java 9, and it's complete different things. And then the idea, the difference is regarding the push and the pull. So Java 8, Java stream Java 8, like you send the data, and then the data goes, and you do the transformation manipulations. And then the reactive idea is like when I'm ready, I collect the data, and I use that data and do my transformation. So one is the data structure, and the other is the API. And one came from Java 8, the other came from Java 9, and both is use the concept of data stream, that they are sending sequence of data, kind of when, as I said, a water when you open the tap. And then on the reactive stream came the concept of reactive programming. And reactive program has a manifest, and this manifesto is from 2014, the same year that Java released Java 8, the Java 8 Java stream. They have 4 concepts: that your application should be responsive, resilient, elastic, and message-driven. Message-driven in the sense that you use the strings, responsive that should care about the request but doesn't block the thread. So the idea is now is asynchronous ways. So I submit something and I don't care when I'm going to receive the response. Resiliency, because I can handle more and more threads and more requests. And of course, elastic, because I can scale in a horizontal way and grow and grow and grow. So if you check it out, there is loads of implementations of a reactive program, but majority of the implementations follow the observer pattern. Observer pattern is from Gang of Four, the famous book of the design patterns. And the observer pattern is something like the objects can subscribe to a subject, and they get the information whatever there is an update on this subject. Essentially, the subject maintains a list of observers and automatically notifies them when the states are changed. So the idea here is I observe that thing, and once there is a change, I notify them there is a change, so then I can work in that thing. So come back on the data stream idea. So it's the push and pull sense. The reactive program is kind of a buzzword nowadays, but it's still a concept that is difficult to it's not clear, it's not defined, and you're going to find a lot of explanations, a lot of different authors saying different things. But one easy way to thinking about this, if you divide in 3 small concepts, that is the questions of push and pull, synchronous and asynchronous, using the data streams, of course, and the propagation of change is the idea that you put the data and it goes in a sequence way until the destiny or from the producer, who here is producer and consumer, but could be publisher and subscriber or whatever word that you think of. So one example here is, let's say we have Bob and Alice, or we have Alice here and Bob, and they want to get a pizza and watch Star Wars, kind of a simple example. So if you think on the synchronous way, should be something like Alice finishes her work, then she goes and order a pizza. She waits until the pizza is done. Then she goes, picks his friend, in the case is Bob. They goes to home, and then they get down and watch the movie and eat the pizza. So all the actions, you do the next action when the first stops. So you follow a sequence. If you do this in an asynchronous way, so Alice ordered the pizza, and she can do this by phone. So she doesn't need to wait the job's finished. So she orders the pizza. Once she finished to order the pizza, she can call to Bob's and invite him to go in her house. And then when she finishes the job, she goes to her house, and then the pizza is delivered there. But she starts to eat the pizza and starts to watch the Star Wars without waiting Bob's arrive. So there is no sequence of events, and everything is a sequence. So I can order the pizza and start to invite my friend. Everything in the sequence. I don't wait everything. And then if you think on the reactive way, so Alice ordered the pizza, and then she phones Bob's and inviting him to go in his house to eat the pizza and watch Star Wars. So she go home. When she arrives at home, the pizza is delivered. But now instead of eating the pizza, she waits Bob arrive. And then once Bob's arrive, they eat the pizza and they start to watch the movie. So this is what reactive approach is about. Like you wait until what async actions or a chains are complete, and then you proceed with the further actions. So you kind of start a lot of things, you wait a little bit, and then you do. So the idea here, you can follow a sequence that makes sense. And then after the reactive, we have the coroutines. So as I said, coroutine is a really old concept. It's from 1958. It's the guy who created the assembler, came with the idea. And then the coroutines idea, as I said, is the idea that you utilize one thread and you change tasks on the same, you change the context of the test, the threads on the task in one thread. So the name coroutine is the idea that you have the cooperation and the functions that is routine, and you can change in a faster way without change the thread. Coroutine has different flavors, as I said. Fibers and generators are the most famous ones. Fibers is the ones that the only one so far that Project Loom is going to implement. There is loads of articles about. There is who came from Scala, people from Scala or for Kotlin or for any other language that implements coroutine, argues about that Fiber is not the best implementation. I'm not here for say it's good, it's bad, and why Java or Project Loom is going to implement just Fiber. But anyway, there is a lot of goods and bad things in this sense. But so far, it's the only hope or the only implementation of Java that doesn't have coroutines implementation so far. So a nice way to understand here is so this is a thread. So the thread starts, and then the thread starts and has kind of IO operation or something that is going to block the thread. So what's happening is I can remove that part, that task from my thread and put another thing in place. So my thread is still the same. So the thread is always once, but I can remove pieces of my threads. And because I do this in a faster way or in a virtual way, I don't have the OS operational, OS involved, and I don't have memory involved. And I can have less threads and parallelize things in a faster way. So I can have millions of coroutines, tasks, but I cannot have millions. Actually, 100,000 threads is if you a good idea here is go ahead and try to increase the number of threads that you have in your memory. You're going to receive the heap memory on the Java quite fast. Maybe less than 1,000 is going to break everything. And then we have the Project Loom. So the Project Loom is the hope, is the implementation of fibers and continuations on the Java. So remember, I don't know if you guys know, but Java releases a version every 6 months. So a version in March and a version in April. So we are middle of February. So next month, Java 18, you already can download a kind of a previous version, a beta version. Project Loom is not there. Actually, Project Loom, there is no visibility when it's going to be. The next Java version is going to be September, 6 months from March. And there is no Java, there is no Project Loom there. People are talking about maybe, perhaps, but there is no guarantee yet. So we are talking about Project Loom that wants to implement fibers on the Java that we can translate in the coroutines implementation on the Java, but it's not going to be in the Java 18 next month. And there is no clarity about if it's going to be on September on Java 19. So when it's going to be on Java, we don't know. But the project Loom, it's already on GitHub. It's an open source project. You can go there and you can download and you can play with. So you can, in that sense, have your custom JVM with project Loom on the top and do some coroutines. So let's put everything that I said in a real example. So remove Kafka, remove everything. Let's simplify here. So imagine I have application. My application, the idea here is I receive 100,000 of products ID. Doesn't matter how. I want to not talk about Kafka, but doesn't matter. For each of the 100,000 products, I need to go and call a REST interface. And here could be a REST interface, could be GraphQL or gRPC, doesn't matter. There is an external application that I need to call, and I'm going to send the product ID, and it's going to retrieve the information of that product. Once I retrieve the full JSON or whatever, Avro, Parquet, doesn't matter, that I receive the data of the product, I'm going to calculate a price or do some manipulation. Could be several scenarios here. And once I finish this, I'm going to save in a local database. So I have 100,000 requests in an external website. I get the data for each one, do some calculations, and then I write on a local database. Here I'm simplifying that is only one time that I'm going to do these hundreds of requests, but you can think the problem, imagine that if you receive 100,000 requests every minute, so that you need to do this every minute. How long do you think is going to take for this finish? Half an hour? You think that this is able to do in a few seconds? Do you think it's going to be 10 minutes or half an hour? Half an hour sounds more plausible, more than this 1 hour. And if I receive this every 1 minute, so every 1 minute, I need half an hour to finish. And if I receive this a second, so every second, so you can imagine the problem that we are handling here. But remove the complexity, remove Kafka, remove, it's only one. Hundreds, millions, millions of products. I will retrieve call the REST interface on the external website, get the data, do some update and store. So if you, here is kind of my Java-ish, so I don't care if it's Java, Kotlin, or Scala here. Kind of a Java-ish, doesn't matter what technology is, but I think it's easy to understand. So one way to do it, to try, it's I can have my fixed thread pool, let's say 10. So then I do a for from 0 to 100 millions. And for each one, is the ID, I'm going to call the retrieve product REST interface from external with the ID, 1, 2, 3, and 2. For each one, I update the price, do some kind of calculation. And for each one, I save on the database. And then, of course, I call my thread pool. So I have 10 threads. They're going to call that website one by one and do the calculation, save on database. So if we have a look on further how this works. So the thread one, I'm looking for the 1 of 10. So the thread one starts and call the REST interface. The REST interface is something external, so it's kind of I/O operation. This request could be seconds, milliseconds, could be seconds, or could be minutes. This REST interface could be off, could be loads of problems here. So here, that part is going to block the thread because it's an O operation. So if we look at like the entire thing, so the thread starts, the thread calls the REST interface and waits for a little bit. Once we receive, as I said, could be seconds, minutes, or milliseconds, seconds, or minutes. Once I receive the data, I do some manipulation. Here, I just local manipulation, so there is no blocking. +1, I don't know, calculate the price, multiply by 2, something like that. And then I need saving a local database. And then again, for writing a database, I need block the threads, I need block the database and things like that. Let's forget about what's happening inside the database because it's another problem. Let's think just on the application itself, just the Java part. So I have my threading running status, block 1, 1, and 3, and then running and 2. So when I have the CPU using, then I block and things like that. So Imagine that this process took 2 seconds. So 2 seconds for run the entire process, 1, 2, 3. So I have 100 million calls, and each one is going to take 2 seconds. So then you have a problem. One way to solve this is to create so here I have the 10 threads, and the 10 threads are going to do in parallel. So it's an inefficient use of CPU. The CPU is idle lots of times, and the way to scale this is putting more threads, but then I'm going to explode my CPU or my memory or my heap. Plus, perhaps that if the process takes 2 seconds, more threads is going to take more time. A way to solve this is I can add the cached thread pool. So cached thread pool is the idea that I don't care the number of the threads, and the OS or the framework or the Java is going to control for me. So I can have up to 100,000 threads. So the thread one starts, when it's blocked, create the second one, and so far. So in 5 seconds, I will end up with 100 millions or 100,000 threads. So here the JVM is going to crash out of memory exception if you stay forever. Every computer has a memory. You're going to achieve the limitation soon. And again, you're just trying to scale horizontally, but you have a limitation. You're not going to pass that. So the problems of this. So waiting, threads don't allow scale. Threads are really expensive, especially when they do the OS stuff. And when you have an OS, the thread is blocked. And when you have an I/O operation, the thread is blocked. And then, of course, there is other things that blocks the threads, like a blocking stage or concurrence calls and things like that. So when the thread is blocked, you just lose in CPU and the CPU is idle. So then came the reactive program. So the reactive program is the idea that I call the server and I don't need to wait the answer. So it's asynchronous ways. So the reactive frameworks take cares about the thread for me. So it's better user of CPU, and I can have unlimited numbers of threads. So now I don't wait the I/O, the blocking, and I don't care about the answer. So I'm swimming something, and I'm going to receive the answer in the future. So I do this asynchronous. So the thread handles effectively and the reactive frameworks. So if you're in the Spring world, Spring Web Flux, so the Spring Web Flux has the concept flux. Then this is start from here. The Java 9, it's a flow. On the Spring is flux. So it's annoying. It's a bunch of new APIs that you need to understand for doing the reactive way. So the reactive program has 3 different implementations on Java. So you have the Java 9 flow or Java streams. You have the reactor project, and then you have the RX Java. Different frameworks using different implementations. So Spring use one, for example, Spring use the RX project. The Micronaut use the project Reactor. The Quarkus use the Java 9. I'm just guessing, but just saying like numbers. But each one use different implementations. So let's look at the code. So I can do my parallelization on up to 10 threads. I can call for 100 million times. And then, of course, I can retrieve the product with the ID. I can upgrade the things, and I can save in the database and things like that. But here you can see that I'm already using stream API, that I have map, I have the flats or reduce or things like that. So the point here is, first, there is loads of APIs to learn. It's annoying, and even the names, flow, flux, and things like that. It's not easy to read. Here is kind of a simple way, but your logic here could be really complex and could be really, 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 really difficult to read. And it's really difficult to debug as well, because it's a crazy, you don't understand what happened, so it's a really problem. And then we have the highlight threads. kind of the coroutine idea. So the idea here is use a highlight threads. I can use existing APIs, so I don't need to learn new APIs and things like that. And I can do in a faster way, and I can don't care about the threads. That is the fiber way on coroutines on Java. So runnable here, I do some calculations. I block. I can have a lock block. Then I update. Then I have the unlock. So what's happening here is he starts, everything starts, and when I submit it, similar with my executor, doesn't matter what is going to be here, the task starts. So when I arrive here, I have the lock, that is the IO, is going to call the REST interface. So in that point, the coroutine implementation is going to save the status of this guy. So I amount this guy from here, and I save he's in a file system or database or whatever in memory. And I get the second test, and I put here. So see that I'm using the same thread. When the thread is blocked, I remove that thing from there, and I put another one, and I don't lose time I don't care about the thread. I don't lose time in process, and I don't. There is no OS changes and things like that. So now my second text is running until the first one is blocked. So when this is blocked, I can come back and put on the threads again and see here that the Java, the JVM is going to be smart enough for put me in the next available thread. Of course, I can come back for the first one, but I can be in the next available thread. So the thing that is here on, so the IO finished. So now I come back here and can proceed. So I'm using the one thread and I just change status in the threads. There is no OS, no user, no, and things like that. So the benefits here is now that I can have hundreds of times of fibers. And then the fibers is kind of an implementation that's going to be translated in small number of threads. So now I can have hundred thousands, one for each product request, for example. But on the end, it's going to be loads threads, and I'm not going to have a heap or memory problems. And I'm not going to control the threads. There is no OS involved here. So it's going to be faster, and I don't have a idle CPU. I have a better use my CPU, and everything is perfect. And the OS itself doesn't change anything. So let's look by the code itself. So exactly the execution implementation. So it's going to be a fiber. So more or less the code is exactly the same. So I call my calculations, I lock, then I update, and then I unlock. And of course, the code, the Loom project is not defined yet, so this could change a lot. And it's similar with the executor service. So the idea here is I use the highlight threads. I use the APIs that I already know, or I don't need to learn a lot of things or concepts to doing that thing. And I handle hundreds of millions or hundreds of times of requests. There is no OS changings and things like that, no non-spent memory. The CPU is not idle, so it's a better user of CPU. So very lightweight, few kbytes of stacks compared to megabytes of threads changing in status. Do not block the underlying threads. The threads is only one. I don't block that. There is no IO block on the thread because I just changed the status, the task. I can use the same APIs with threads. Scheduling over kernel threads handled by the scheduler. Can run millions of fibers in one application. Will never handle thousands of concurrent connections. So there is loads of benefits here. And then we talk about what's the, all right. So now we know why coroutine is important, why we want coroutines in Java. So the few points to remember here. Java 8 brings the Java stream. Java 9 brings the reactive stream. The stream, Java 8 is the data structure that you put the elements. Java 9 is kind of the server side, blocks, low, and things like that. And the reactive program way to think. Spring Boot is kind of the old way, is kind of synchronous, and then Webflux is the reactive way that is asynchronous. So it's the question of I submit and I don't care about the answer, so asynchronous ways to do it. And then I'm not saying here that the Java is dying. I'm not saying that Kotlin is better or Scala is better or Scala has a problem now. I'm not saying that things. The point here was to show the last 10 years history. Java was there. Java lose for Scala for a little bit of time, and it's really clear to see this. Hadoop, Spark, Kafka, Flink, Akka, Pulsar, and there is loads of products. They all went for Scala, so it's not I'm guessing and I'm just looking for the data is real. If you look for Forbes, i3, and all the others, Gartner, you're going to see that Scala grows a lot. So then Java implements the Java 8 stream. Of course, the Scala has some compatibility problems as well. And then people give up from Scala and come back to Java. So nowadays, the history is repeating itself. People who works with data streams and has a load of data and handles a lot of requests, like hundreds of times per second, cannot work with Java in appropriate way. Perhaps they are seeing the Scala implementation, its vulnerabilities and migrations, and they are using Kotlin. So again, it's not a guessing. It's not me who is saying this. Go ahead, search on Google, find out about Kafka, look for a job in Kafka, and you're going to see that loads of companies and loads of projects are migrating to Kotlin. Why they are migrating to Kotlin? Maybe they are afraid to migrate to Scala regarding the vulnerabilities, regarding the migration. Scala is more difficult to learn in the sense that you need more functional things. Kotlin is quite close to Java. Of course, both are on top of JVM, and if you know Java, you're going to learn Kotlin in a really fast way. So yes, Kotlin is trending. My idea of the Java project Loom is the hope of Java. Could be true, could be not. As I said, March, in less than 1 month from now, March, we are going to have the new Java 18 that doesn't came with Project Loom. The following release is going to be on September. It's going to be Java 19. And again, there is no clarity, no answer yet if it's going to bring Java Loom or not. And even if it brings, it's going to bring just the fiber implementation of the coroutines. And even so, after the release of Java took a while for people migrate. For example, we already have Java 17, but if you search the market, loads of 99% of all Javas are still on Java 8. So you have lots of people using Java 8, a little bit of people using Java 11, and almost no one using Java 17 or 12, 13, 15, 16, or 17. And still, there is loads of people on Java 7. If you're thinking about the big data scenario, Hadoop is a problem regarding the versions, because Hadoop 2.7 is most trending, is based on Java 7. So if you have a park or if you have a cluster with thousands of machines, you're not going to migrate Java version in a easy way. And for migrate the Java version, previous you need to change the Hadoop. So it's a blocking in that sense. So there is loads of problems here. But on the streaming platform or the streaming scenario, you need to realize that it's a niche. So less than 10 years ago, the niche or the number of people, the projects that was trying to do data manipulation, perhaps is far bigger than the number of projects or niche that is trying to do data stream nowadays. But my point is, we are, despite data streaming is kind of 7 years old, or maybe more, currently we are on the beginning of the trending. So microservices here, people are using more data streaming for communication, and the volume or the variety of the data is increased. So the projects that need this is became more popular, more training. So you see, I already see the movement of the market for Kotlin in that sense, but this market tends to grow. And once Java puts the fiber implementation, the coroutine fibers implementation, we will take a time for the market to realize the new version or doing this migration, and then perhaps recover the market or not. We don't know the future. Again, the idea here is not to say Kotlin and Scala is better than Java or vice versa. And then, of course, we have a call to actions. So here is the nice part. So as I said, IGFA Souza, you can find me in all social networks. It's my mail and it's my GitHub as well. So this is not true yet, but will be. So be with me, pay attention, follow me, give me a little bit of time. So the call to actions here is on GitHub, there is 3 projects. So I have the Spring Boot project, I have the Spring Webflux project, and I have the Spring coroutines project. So the Spring Boot project, use the Spring Boot. It's a synchronous way. And I have all the projects are equal. I have 4 files in the projects, the 4 main projects that you can. It's a producer and consumer in a Kafka. I have the Spring controller, and I have the test. So the controller here creates a REST interface that is going to write in a database. Producer and consumer are going to generate data, and the data is going on the end up calling the REST interface. And then I have a test. So my test is going to create 10 threads and call 100 million times or 100,000 times, generate 100,000 times elements that is going to call this guy 100,000 times in 10 threads. So the call to action is go there, download the projects, run the Spring Boot, and see the results. You're going to see that's going to fail. You're going to end up with out of memory, threads problem. So go on the tests, increase, decrease the number of threads, increase, decrease the number of calls, and you're going to see the problem of Spring Boot. Once you finish, download the Webflux, and you're going to have the same files, the same configuration, the same thing, and do the test again. Increase, decrease the number of threads, increase, decrease the number of calls. And you're going to see that the Webflux is going to handle better than the Spring Boot. And then once you finish, you go for the coroutines. Of course, there is no coroutines implementation in Java. So this project is Kotlin. You don't need to understand too much about Kotlin here to play, but you can compile and run tests. And again, increase, decrease the number of threads, increase, decrease the number of calls. And you're going to see that the coroutines with hundreds of millions is going to work and it's not going to fail. And you don't need a memory, you don't need a super computer and things like that. As I said, not go on my GitHub and look at that, but it's not 100% there yet. So be with me, give me a little bit of time. If it's not there, will be in a future, a short future, I hope. Here I'm using Kafka and a database. So I'm going to put a kind of a Docker compose. So then you can just run the Docker compose and you don't need to care about Kafka and the database itself. I'm using Kafka here, but you can avoid Kafka. And the database I will do with Cassandra or maybe SQL or Oracle, but the database could be anyone. The main point here is the web application itself, not the Kafka, not the database. And again, there is loads of things that happens inside the database regarding concurrence that we don't care. So I hope I gave you a better idea of what is coroutine, the importance of coroutine, what is the project Loom, why we don't have a project coroutines in Java, and what's the importance of this, the niche that you use that technology, and why. This presentation took me good learning, so I learned a lot, and this presentation is going to be translated in maybe 6 or 7 blogs, posts regarding what is stream, what is reactive program, what the heck is the loads of streams, this idea of the history, plus coroutines and project Loom. So not there yet, maybe once or two, but waiting, give me a little bit of time. After a while, I will put everything in there. There is an open source implementation of coroutines on Java. If you Google Java and coroutines, you're going to find that is not related with Project Loom. So one of the ideas here is try to get that implementation and add it as a for option. And of course, the project Loom, there is a beta version that you can download, and you can kind of hack your JVM, and then you have a JVM with the project Loom. You need to be more than Java 11, so up to 12, 15, 16 is going to work. And then, of course, you can create another one here with the project Loom inside your current JVM and things like that. So I hope I give you a nice idea and explain everything. So I'm kind of open for questions. So as I said, IGFA Souza, find me everywhere. Follow my blog, go on my LinkedIn. If it's not there yet, will be. This presentation, the video of this presentation, or perhaps a similar one, I will be in a post soon. So thank you again for opportunity, and I hope I give you lots of content.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the awesome talk, Igor. I would like just to ask you to share the link of your project. I assume it's this Kafka Spring Dashboard project, or
No, I will share. There is nothing. As I said, if it's not on my GitHub, will be soon. will
okay,
be soon. Will be soon.
okay.
Give me a time.
So you can follow Igor because he'll be sharing very soon um, the this project with you on Twitter. So follow him and um, just consume the content he's sharing there. And Igor, Rume has a question for you. Um, he is asking, can you recommend an easy guide to getting started with Kafka and reactive programming? And
That's a
more
trick
questions,
question.
guys. Just send your questions.
Uh, it's a kind of trick question. On the top of my mind, I don't have anything. Check out my blog. You're going to find few informations there, but I don't have like a one in specific. I'm supposed to say like the Kafka documentation is really nice. The new website that they put, there is loads of content and it's really nice. Data design, data intensive application is a book for Mark Kaplan. It's kind of a must read for who is going to the data stream area. And Kafka Definitive, the book itself, is explain everything. For reactive program, I think it's the last blog post on my site is the 10 or some books that you should read on 2022. And then there is the Java reactive. I don't remember exactly the name of the book, but it's the tiger on front. And it's reactive program with Quarkus, that is kind of training nowadays. I didn't have opportunity to finish the book yet, but I recommend, and it's really training. You're going to learn about Quarkus. But if you search Spring Web Flux, there is loads of contents, kind of infinite contents regarding. I don't think it's going to be like tricky to find. And do the test. Search about Kotlin and Kafka, or check the companies. The market, what I said is true. The market is asking Kotlin or not. Go ahead and find out.
Nice. I also have one question for you, Igor. Do you think the market is interested in making Java strong for big data? Because, like, as you said, like the languages that are stronger are on this area are Kotlin and Scala.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
think
like,
this
what is your opinion?
there is a tricky thing here. When you think about data science or data analysis, no one uses Java. Everything is Python. There is a small part of doing with Scala and small part with Java, but everybody is Python, or majority of things Python. The academic version is even worse. It's using R or using whatever. There is an old technology, I forget, Lua, and anyway, but Python is 99%. But when you think about big data, that contains inside big data, contains data analysis as well. Big data is Java. There is no Scala, no Python, no anything. Everything is Java. 5-7 years ago was Scala. But nowadays, as I said, Scala has some problems with vulnerabilities versions, and Scala has some problems with migration versions. One of the examples is if you on the Scala tree, there is no way to play with Kafka, or you're going to end up with a lot of hacks on your code, or you're going to be really trouble. If you decide to use Apache Flink, so you have a nightmare in regarding Scala. So in that sense, now current Scala is not an option for that niche. What was like 5 to 7 years ago. So big data is Java. There is no doubt. So what's happened on the big data scenario is because you have Hadoop and it's divided in several clusters. Normally you have kind of a schedule that start processing different machines, and people start a Python process. So you have a kind of a scheduler or a universal Java layer that controls everything, and you start Python schedulers in the nodes that do the math for you or something like that. But Spark has a Java, Python, and Scala support as well. But data analysis in general, Python. Big data with data analysis, Java. But the Java community, I think it's previous Oracle or previous 2014 was like lost. We are not going to change Java. I don't care. Java 7 forever. So when they saw that the market was falling and Java was losing, they said, everybody's talking about functional program. Let's bring things from functional parting for Java and Java grow. Oracle came with the idea that every 6 months there is a new release. It's good in some sense, it's really bad in other sense. Like we have almost 20 versions of Java. Anyway, but brings a lot of things. As I said, Java streams on Java 8 is considered the best improvement on Java for the last decade. Java Flow and Java 9 brings the reactive program, despite almost no one is playing with Java 9. So from Java 8, everybody jumped to Java 11. And then there is maybe less than 1% dividing 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. So I never met, or I don't know anyone that is using Java 17 in production, or Java 16, or Java 15, or Java. So, and if you're in the big data world, it's even worse because you block by your Hadoop version. So if you are in 2.7, that is the most trending Hadoop, you block on Java 7. So there is nothing to do for you. If you're working with Spring, with Spark, so then you can do Java and Python and things like that. But on Kafka with data stream, I'm using Kafka as the most trending project in data stream, but Red Panda, Pulsar, Flink, Storm, there is other options in the market. Pulsar, yeah, I thought I said Pulsar. You can do Java, but if you have the problem with Java streams, if you have more than, let's say, hundreds requisitions per second, you're going to end up with a little tricky if you need the OS writing a database or call another application, your server side is going to be tricky. You can add a big delay, then you lose the real time, or you need something better than a pool of threads. Unfortunately, there is no solution in Java so far. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it exists, but perhaps there is. I don't know, and I don't feel the market is find out because they are just saying, forget Java, let's go for Kotlin. And the big point here is that niche is really small.
Okay.
So the point is, if it's going to grow or not, who knows? No one knows the future. But my feeling is that data stream, despite its 7 years old technology, it's becoming more and more trending, and microservice is more and more trending. So the number of applications, the data is growing. So the number of applications that is going to end up in that problem is growing. So I believe that small niche of people from Java migrating to Kotlin is going to grow. We need to wait a few years to see. We need to wait a few years to see. But it's easy to Google and find out projects, data stream projects in Kotlin and companies asking Kotlin.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the answer, Igor. There's another question here from Gunardi Sutanto. He's asking, what is the best tool you recommend for benchmarking the Java ecosystem?
That's a good question for you, Rafa. I don't have any idea.
Well, you could use JMeter. I don't know if it's the best one, but it's one tool that works.
Yeah,
Uh,
but perhaps I didn't understand the question because he said benchmark Java ecosystem uh, means Java the market, like who is using, or Java the memory, CPUs, and things like that. JMeter is more, as you said, for memory, disk use, and things like that. But for benchmark the market, I don't know. Google. A little bit of patience, talk with people, LinkedIn and Google, and see what
yeah,
the job specs are asking.
yeah. Maybe Igor or myself will share this information to you.
Yeah,
So if you follow us, we're gonna be following up with
yeah.
your questions. Okay, so thanks so much for the amazing talk, Igor. Um,
Thank you.
that was amazing, and I will bring Bruno with us. Hello, Bruno. It's an honor to have you here. Really happy to have you here, and I'm sure you're gonna um, give amazing insights for the other engineers um, to improve in their careers.
Yes,
So
thank you. Thank you, Rafael. Thanks, Igor. Good to have you. Good to see you here, man. Great presentation. Thanks a lot.
awesome. Thanks so
So,
much, Igor.
see you guys. Thank you.
See you,
Bye
Igor.
bye. Take care.
Good.
See you.
So, Rafael,
Okay.
so you're here, proposing challenges for everyone, right? So I see lots of people here. Um, I saw Humi taking action. Congratulations, Humi. That's great that you're here taking action. And Gunnar is here. Who else is here that we can talk about, right? So, hello everyone. If you T is here, so Muhammad, that's good, right? So if just say hello in the chat, right? If you can hear us, you can see us. Say hello in the chat if my sound is good, right? Because I'm here for the next hour or so to really, really help you get your career going, right? So I want to be very interactive. I want to answer your questions, right? So how are things going, Rafael? I just heard that you're finishing your third group, right? So how's that group did?
Yeah, I finished the cycle 3 of the mentorship. It's the group did great. Thiago gave the talk with me, and he could start giving talks. He also got a promotion in his job, and he's also more confident now to talk uh, with like in public. He even gave a talk with me here today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the guys are rocking, and they had amazing results in their career, and that's amazing. It's powerful.
That's good. That's good. Homie says, hello, you guys are amazing. Thanks once again, right? It's been informative so far. Okay, so we don't want to be informative, Rumi, right? That's what I don't want to be informative. I want to help you change your life, change your career. So what I want to know, is what is going on in your career right now, right? So tell me what's going on in your career. So what is the biggest challenge you're facing in your career right now, Humi? Not only you, Humi, Gunnar, everyone else. What is the biggest challenge that you're facing in your career right now? Because my idea here with you is spend the next hour helping you advance in your career, helping you get whatever challenge you're going through right now. We want to eliminate that challenge, right? So for that, I need you to write on the chat, right? Be as specific as you can, right? So go into whatever detail you can, so it can really I can really help you with whatever you're going through right now. So Rafael, what is the biggest challenge that your community faces? What is the biggest challenge that your people in your group face? So we can start with that.
One of the biggest challenges the developers are going through are basically to not know what to study, because there are so many things to study.
Right.
And this is just one of the challenges. But maybe before that, we can start with Tony's question, because
Oh, there's a question already. Good. Okay, it's good.
he made a question here.
Mhm.
He said that nowadays many companies set up you an algorithm test before you get a job. What is
Mhm.
the best way to plan and pass the test?
Right. The best way is not do that. That's the best way, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk about what you can do about it, but the best way is really, guys, there's a lot of companies now that they want to interview you with those crazy things, right? Algorithm questions and live coding and whiteboards coding, right? This kind of things. So who asked the question? Thiago, is it? What he said?
It was Tony.
Tony.
Tony
Okay, so Tony.
from London.
Oh, for long. Okay, so Tony. So lots of companies, Tony, are doing this, right? So they wanna they wanna uh, uh, they wanna try to have you prove that you are a good developer, right? That's the whole idea, right? So here's the problem, Tony. Before I go specifically on the algorithms, right? So here's the problem, Tony. Uh, um, the selection process inside a company, right, is a trust process, right? I don't trust you. I don't know who you are, right? I never worked with you in the past, right? So I don't trust you. So now I have to throw you a lot of difficult things for you to do so you can prove to me that you are a trustworthy person. You can prove to me that you're the right person to participate on this, right? So you have to prove to me that I should hire you, right? And of course, look, guys, that's why I'm not sure how the law is in many places, but in Brazil, for example, we have a 30-day or 3 months, right? I think it's 3 months, right, Rafael? Experience phase, right? In 3 months, I can fire you without having to pay all the heavy taxes for firing people, right? So there is an experiment phase, right? And that's what companies did in the past, right? They would hire you, right? And then you would go to an experiment phase and you would work for a couple of months and then you would see if you're the right person. Then if you're not, right, that's okay. So then you can part ways, right? But so now the companies are doing what, right? So there's a lot of people trying to be hired, right? And so companies are like, okay, so we don't need to experiment phases anymore, right? So how about we do this beforehand, right? So the interview process has been longer and longer and longer, right? Because now they want to force you to go to all these things to prove that you're the right person, to prove that you're the right person. And I call this, Tony, the rejection process, right? I call this a rejection process. Why? Because the whole objective that we have in the interview process is to reject you, right? I don't trust you, so I'm gonna force you to pass through all those tests, and at any point I can reject you, and oh, that's good, I reject the wrong person. And the idea is that eventually I'm going to reject so many people that I'm going to find the right person, right? The one that's not going to be rejected, the one that I really want, the one that's going to be the best one for me, right? So that's the idea. That's the idea. Now, the reality is the following, right? If you get someone that's an amazing developer, right? Someone that's like, let's say someone that wrote the book or wrote the software that your company uses, right? Let's imagine you get someone that wrote the software that your company uses. Do you think that someone's going to say to this guy and said, oh, you have to prove to me that you're a good developer, right? Do you think that's going to happen? It will not, right? Because the company's already using the software that this guy wrote, so they just want to hire him, right? And the reality is that if you come to the guy that wrote the software that your company uses, so for example, Rafael just mentioned what's the software you just mentioned now? Test for testing.
Dimitri.
So yeah, JMeter, right? JMeter, right? So yeah, you just I remember you just mentioned stuff. So let's say you want to use JMeter to do performance tests in your company, for example, right? And so so then there is the guy that wrote JMeter, right? He wants to work for your company. Would you hire him, or would you do an algorithm test with him, right? You probably would hire him. But because your company does algorithm testing, what happens? That guy will not go through your process because he doesn't care. He does not care for your stupid, process of hiring, right? So the moment you want to hire the best people, your process actually prevents you from finding the right people, right? Prevents you from hiring the best one, right? Now, I understand that nothing is easy, right? I understand that the non-standard process also has complications, right? But that's where the companies are, right? Companies are trying to validate people, to trust on people, using a process that prevents them from getting the best ones. That's okay. So what do companies do? They have two processes, right? Not all of them, but most companies do. There's one process that is the standard process. They're gonna try to force you go through this process. I call this the rejection process. And there's another process that no one talks about. It's not HR doesn't talk about. The recruiters don't talk about. No one talks about, right? That is what I call the acceptance process. The acceptance process is like this. Hey, Rafael, I worked with you in the past. I trust you. I know who you are. We work in the same open source projects. We did a project together in another company. Whatever. I trust you already, Rafael. So I want to hire you, Rafael. Do you want to work for me? And Rafael might say, is that going to be a good project, Bruno? I said, well, it's a pretty good project, man. It's going to work directly for me. We're going to use new technology. Rafael said, that sounds good. And then Rafael is going to say, how much do you think the company can pay for me? And I say, well, look, I think we were thinking about this amount of money. Would that work for you? How much money do you need? And Rafael, well, if it was a little higher, I would go. And I said, okay, let me see if I can, what I can do. So I'm going to talk with HR. I'm going to talk with my boss, and let me see if that's viable. And so I talked to my boss, I talked to HR, they say, yeah, we can pay that much. And then I came back to Rafael and say, hey, Rafael, look, we got, man, my boss approved it. If you want to come, it's good. And then Rafael say, yes. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a job. I'm going to create a position inside my company, right? With that salary, requiring that skills that Rafael have. Right? And then I say, Rafael, that's the position. Can you apply for it for a place? And then Rafael applies for it. We hire Rafael, and that's it. Right? You see, it's the reverse process. That's what I call the acceptance process, right? The acceptance process is when I want you to work for me, Tony. I'm going to do whatever I can to get you to work for me. Make sense? So there's no stupid interviews. Of course, there's going to be interviews, right? My boss is going to want to talk to Rafael, right? No one's going to just trust my word, right? So my boss is going to want to talk to Rafael. There might be some other people in my team that would want to talk to Rafael to see if he matches on the culture, all of that, right? But the whole thing is already, we want to hire Rafael. If someone talks to Rafael and say, Bruno, I talked to Rafael and he's not, I was asking him some questions, and I think he was kind of weird guy. Then maybe we're not going to hire him, right? Because someone didn't like Rafael, or Rafael did something wrong in interviews, or whatever, right? So maybe, but Rafael is not competing with everyone else. Rafael is only competing with himself, or maybe the other way around, right? Maybe when you get to the moment of making an offer, Rafael is going to say, "Hey, man, you said there was an awesome job, but, I have to come to the office every day. And I can't come to the office every day, man. I'm not going to do that. I like to work remotely." And then Rafael might say, "I don't want this." Because during the interview process, Rafael did not like something on the job, right? And that's good. So then if Rafael says no, everyone else has a chance, right? And so then the people that are on the rejection process have a chance. Make sense, Tony? So that's why I suggest that this is the best way for you to get the most amazing job, right? It's not going through the interview process. It's not going through this algorithms issues. But Bruno, if I want to work for the big companies, right? Google, Amazon, whoever, right? I have to do this interview process. Well, you don't have to do, right? But a lot of those companies will force you to do. You're right. You're right. And then why? Because those companies have a lot of people wanting to work for them, right? So they can choose. They can force you to do things that you don't want to do, right? That you if you think that's not helpful, and because they can do this because there's so many people applying for it, right? And so the reality is that if you want to work for one of those companies, maybe you're going to have to be you're going to have to force yourself to go through this, right? But think about it. Think about your favorite rock star developer, right? Your favorite celebrity developer that you remember that was hired by one of those big companies. I'm not going to say names here, but I know I can remember several, right? But imagine your favorite, like top developer, the guy that created the technology that you use, that was hired by one of those companies. And ask yourself, do you think that this rock star developer went through an interview process where he had to show algorithms? What do you think? Right? What do you think? Or do you think that the companies were, putting more money and more benefits and doing all kinds of things to get them to join their company? Right? Think about that, because that's the thing that you can do for yourself. You can go after the companies that really want you. And once you find the companies that really want you, those companies they'll trip upon themselves to get you, right? But then what's the problem of that? That ties into the next question, right? So the next thing that Rafael said, there's, what should I study, right? It ties into who are you and how amazing are you? How specialist are you on something? Because once you are very specialist on something, then that might be why companies want you. If you're just a normal developer, if you're just like a basic developer, if you're just a run-of-the-mill guy, right? If you're just a mediocre person, right? Like a mid-level person, there's nothing special in you, then why would a company want to hire you, right? And when I say that, it looks like I'm talking some very bad thing about you, but I'm not, right? Because the reality is that you, all of us here, me, Rafael, you, all of us here, we are average developers for the average company, right? A lot of people call me and say, Bruno, we have this job as a Java EE developer, and would you like to apply? And I say, no, right? Because I'm an average Java EE developer. That's not what I'm good at. If you don't want what I'm good at, I'm going to be an average or even a bad developer for you, right? I'm only interested in those companies that think Bruno is the right person for me, right? Because they know exactly who I am. They know exactly what I do. And they want me to do what I'm best inside their companies, right? So you have to decide what in you, what in your career, what is the thing that you want to be recognized for? What is the thing that you want to be the best in the world of, right? What is the thing that you want to be the unique person, right? Once you understand that, then you can go after the companies. They're not going to see you as an average developer. They're going to see you as the top person for what they need. And you can say, but Bruno, that might be just a small number of companies, and that's okay, right? All you want is one amazing job, right? You don't want hundreds of okay jobs. You don't want hundreds of standard, regular jobs. You want one amazing job, right? And that's all you need. Make sense? So there's millions of companies in the world. I can guarantee you that you can find one that has an amazing job for you, right? And once you find that, you're going to be very, very, very happy working on that company, working for that project, doing that things, right? Because it's gonna make all the difference for you. Make sense? So T says, great answer, Bruno. Gives a good insight about the recruitment process. Yeah, so I can talk more about that if you guys want. I wrote a book about this. That talks about this process, right? So, if you want to do that, that's a great thing, right? Okay. So, actually, let me tell you this. Can I give a gift for everyone, Rafael?
For sure, yes.
All right, so I'm going to do two things here, guys. Two things, and I'm going to repeat this many times during this call here. But I'm going to do two things here. So I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to give you a gift for everyone, right? And that's a gift for everyone, really, right? So, okay, so good. So that's the gift for everyone. I wrote this book called the Step-by-Step, the Best Developer Year. It's a step-by-step plan for you, Rumi, T, Thiago, whoever, right? For you to plan and create the best year for your career, right? So it's really focused on you. You put your name and email, and then you're gonna get this book that's gonna help you take control of your career, right? That's gonna help you make the best year. We're still in February, right? So it's a good moment for us to be thinking about our career. So you can come to this link right here, and you're gonna get this most amazing. That's a very, very short book that's gonna help you to really think about your career, right? Think about what you want to be seen at. Think about what you can really focus on. Think about how there's a great exercise in this book. There is we can even talk more about that if you guys want. There is the limiting beliefs exercise, right? So that's an awesome thing for you guys to do to overcome the limiting beliefs, right? So Rafael just put the link on the chat also. So so go there. You can download this book completely for free, right? And get it. And once you do that, there's two things that are going to happen, right? One, you're going to get an awesome book that's going to help you plan your career. The second thing you're going to get my email, because I'm going to send that book to you over email, right? So make sure you look at the book. You put me as a contact so you receive that book. But then, so you have my email. You can reply back to my email and saying, Bruno, I have this question, or I have this problem in my career, and I can totally help you. So that's thing number one. Now, there's another thing I'm going to give to you is, okay, so let me get this really quick here. Oops. Okay, I'm sharing a tab, right? So I'm just going to put another URL here. So that's the first book. You got a URL there? So that's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to do is talk to you guys about this. If you go to Amazon and you search for the best developer job ever on Amazon, right? Okay, the best developer job ever, right? That's the thing here, right? So you're gonna have to here's found Amazon.com, right? So here, Amazon.com, the best developer job ever, 5-step plan to dream jobs, right? So this is the book. Oh, actually, it's on promotion on Amazon. So it's very, very, very cheap right now. Okay? So if you go there and you find the best developer job ever a book, very cheap on Amazon. Look, I'm going to do something here that I don't do lightly. And I'm just doing this because it's Rafael Groups here, right? So if you buy that book for that amount of dollar, like $1, right? And you send me an email or send me a BR Java Man on Twitter. You send me, Bruno, I bought your book, right? And I want to talk to you. I'm going to spend some time talking one-on-one with you to get your career going, right? How about that? You buy the book, you send me saying, but Bruno, why should I buy the book to talk to you? Well, just because, I want to talk to people that are serious about their career, right? So you get the book that has everything you need to really understand this hiring process. So then when you talk to me, I'm not repeating what's in the book, right? Because you already have the book, right? So we can go forward. We can go to do something else, right? So I understand that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants the most amazing jobs in the world. Not everyone it's in a position to do that. But if you want to do this, that's right there. Okay. So is that good, Rafael? Let me stop.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Bruno. Thanks for offering this awesome gift for everyone. And guys, take the opportunity, take the book. I already read the book, and it's really, really good. Like, you're gonna learn many principles that will take your career to another whole level.
Thanks, Rafael. Thanks. All right, so let's go to more questions so we can remove that. I'm just gonna leave this shared, Rafael, but you can remove that. Let's go for the next question here then. And then, Bruno, how do I do if I bought the book? How do I do? Just come here to BR Java Man, right? At BR Java Man, and let me know. Okay. All right, on Twitter, right? That's Twitter. My DMs are open, right? So you can just DM me. All right. So next question. So Thiago asked a question here in Portuguese. He says, "Oh man, lots of things here. Oh, lots of things from Thiago." I'm not sure there's previous question that I missed it, but
let me take a look, guys.
Thiago says, "Good afternoon. There's any suggestion to do an application for reading files and business rules and database and Java and blah 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 and okay, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking here, man. Okay, read and write files, read business rules, right? Looking for in a database and Java interpreter, right? All right, so what you want to do? Okay, so here's what you're going to do, right, Thiago? You want to have a lot of rules in the database, right? And then what you want is that you want your Java application to read the rules in the database, right? And then interpret that, right? That's what you want to do. So, yeah, there's lots of ways for you to do that. Actually, this funny enough, there was a many years ago, there was a company here in Brazil that they had this amazing database. I mean, amazing ERP solution, right? And their whole ERP was coded in the database, right? So all they had was this thin layer of presentation, right? That would read rules from the database and execute those rules, right? So they were like the first ERP made in Java, right? Because they didn't had to do anything. They just had to write the Java front ends for the already existing database engine. So that's totally possible to do, Thiago. And so, but today there are tools that will do this kind of things for you, right? So, you have the workflow building tools, right? That will do this kind of things for you, right? So you can use, I to be honest, that's not my expertise, Thiago, but I think Drew's, for example, from our friend Eder Ignatovic, I think Drew's is a tool that does this kind of thing. That you have all these business rules that you code those business rules in a easy to understand language, and then you just have an engine that process those rules. So so you can use it's an open source project that you can use to do this kind of things, right? So that is something that you can do, right? But you're saying that this is something I want to work is is to import NoSQL, MSQL, and Java process. Yeah, so you do. So I mean, so if you already have your process, man, if you already have something that's a legacy application, and there is already something that you do, yeah, you can do this in Java, no problem, right? You can just read the rules, whatever there are from the database, right? There's many ways from reading things from the database. There's many ways from reading things from files in Java, right? You can definitely read that and do this in Java if you already do this in other language. Yeah, that's no problem, man. I'm not sure if I'm answering you're talking about, Thiago, because I would need to have more details exactly what you do. But yes, you can totally do this in Java, right? So Thiago also asked, what Java course do you recommend, right? Do you do mentorship? So yes. This guy here, Rafael Del Nero, has an awesome mentoring group, right? Awesome. So you should come talk to him. Actually, this conversation here is the conversation of the end of his mentoring group, right? Rafael's getting to the end of his mentoring group. I mean, so he's going to start a new one. Let me tell you a secret, Thiago. He's starting a new one. right? Think about what that means, right? You're in the right place on the right time, Thiago. So you really should talk about Rafael. Rafael, how does Thiago apply for your mentoring? Is that, does he
Thank
have
you.
to join your workshop first to learn about it? How does it work?
Thank you, Bruno, for the kind words. Well, he just needs to take action and get the Golden Lessons book, and then he can just have the conversation with me, and then we can see what are the needs from Thiago, and then um like if he wants to get better with Java, or if he wants to get promoted, or whatever are his goals in his career.
So, guys, let me tell you one thing. This thing that Rafael does, it's very unique and very amazing, right? So uh, um, he's going to spend time talking with you about your career, right? So not a lot of people do this in the industry, you know. So Rafael is doing this. He's spending time with you, thinking about your career, thinking about what's going on, think about what you need in terms of challenges, right? Rafael has this great process of challenging yourself to be better developer, right? So I think that's an amazing way. And so, yeah, Thiago, go there. Rafael does mentoring, and his mentoring is awesome, right? So you really should go and check it out. Once I'm sure that once we finish here, Rafael's going to show you how to do that, right, Rafael?
Yes, I'll share the link with you again.
All right, cool. Okay. All right. And that's what Rumi took action on, right? So Rumi
Yeah.
did that, right? Rumi got the book from Rafael, right? And it's already scheduling. So Rumi, let me tell another secret, Rumi. Very important. The moment you got the book, you're going to receive an email or a page to allow you to schedule with Rafael, right? So there's a mistake that a lot of people do, that they say, okay, when I finish reading the book, I'm going to schedule. And then, why that's a mistake, Rumi? Because you start reading the book, and then something happens in your job, and then something happens in your life, right? And then then you don't have a lot of time to read the book, and then you never schedule Rafael. So you're missing the opportunity to really have a conversation that can change your life, right? Because Rafael is going to help you make a plan for your life, right? So you don't need to read the book before you schedule with him, right? You don't. You can just go and read the book, right? I mean, sorry, you can just schedule the conversation and have the conversation next week. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know how soon Rafael lets you schedule, right? So just you can have a conversation with him immediately, and then you start changing your life right now. Okay, so no, it can be yeah, Rumi. It can be the online version. I mean, I'm telling you, it is the online version, right? Don't worry about that. It's the online version. Okay, the Kindle version is a cheap one. Don't have to be the hard copy. No problem. All right. Okay. So yes, Rumi, take action, man. Take action on Rafael's offer. Take action on my offer. This is great. It's great that you guys can do that and can do a cool mentoring here. All right. Okay. So that's Rafael's book right there. He just put the link. Good. All right. So let me go back to the questions here. All right. So have any suggestions how I can rewrite with new software with current technologies? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there, Thiago. Any suggestion I can rewrite new software, current technology? Well, we can always, yeah, Thiago. My suggestion is don't do this. Look, this whole process you're trying to do, Thiago. Okay, guys. So here's one thing, very important thing. Okay, so how do we write software? Right, that's important. Right, very important how we write software. A lot of people think the way we write software is I sit down right in front of this blank screen, and there's nothing in it, and I'm just gonna start start from scratch, right? That's good. It's okay. You can do that. That's not a problem, right? You can totally do that. And I think that as a developer, you should do that to be better, to improve, to get better results. I think you should totally do that, right? But there's a different thing, because when you ask me, Thiago, how to write a software, right? You're not asking me how to write a software. You're trying to solve a problem, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to solve a problem. And what is the problem that you have right now, Thiago? That you wrote a software that solves some kind of problem for you, but then now this software is what we call legacy software, right? What does that mean? It means that technology evolved, things become better, and now you have to maintain this piece of software by yourself, right? By yourself is like your company, right? It's not only you, right? There's a bunch of people in your company having to do that, right? So now it's your company's responsibility to do that software. If you stop doing that software, it stops working. It stops solving the problem for your customers. It stops solving the problem for your company. So you are responsible. That's what we call legacy software, right? It's a piece of code that I'm responsible to maintain that, right? So that's not a good way of solving problems, man, because that's not how we solve problems in our lives, right? Let me give you an example, Thiago. Let's say, so right now in Brazil, it's 2 p.m., right? I had lunch right before joining here, right? But, for some of you, maybe for Rafael, what time is it, right? Almost dinner time, right, Rafael?
Now here it's almost 5 p.m.
Yeah, so Rafael, in a couple of hours, Rafael is going to have to have dinner, right? That's a problem. Rafael's going to be hungry, right? And so what he's going to do, he could start from scratch, right? He could just go to a little pot in his apartment, right, and plant some flower seed, right? So eventually he's going to have a flower seeds, and he could make bread out of it, right? He could go in and he could plant a little bit of greens on his pot, right? And eventually he's going to have like this green stuff he could put in a sandwich. Actually, there was a guy that did that the other day, right? He did that. He spent like 5 years or a whole year, I think, a whole year or maybe 6 months, I don't know, something like this, planting everything to do a burger, right? So, the only thing he didn't plant was the meat itself, right? The only thing, everything else he did. So he planted everything to do a burger, and he took like 6 months to do that, right? So that's the problem, Thiago. When we try to solve a problem from the scratch, man, right? It might take a long, long time. And this guy that did this is 6 months, I think it was 6 months. 6 months planting a burger, right? And so he made the bread, he did everything, right? So he made the whole thing. And in the end, his opinion was it was not even a good burger, right? So that's the problem, Thiago. We think that we have to start from scratch, and then when we get to the end of it, like 6 months later, so Van J. Rad, is this the guy that did that? I don't know. So so then you get to the end of it after 6 months or a year doing your software from scratch, Thiago. You get to the end to say it's not even a good software, right? I started with very new, that's Thiago's question. Bruno, can I start with new technology? Yes, you can, right? But if it's going to take you 1 year to do this or 2 years to do this, then after 2 years, your cool new technologies are not cool new technologies anymore, right? They're now old legacy code, right? Because that's what, that Venkat, our friend Venkat, wrote this on Twitter the other day, right? Developers are those people that they don't want to do legacy code at all, but all they want to do is start new things from scratch to generate legacy code, right? So it's like, yeah, right? So one thing I want to tell you, Thiago, is that, man, when you do a project, think about what is the problem you're trying to solve, right? And then that's the biggest question, right? So what's the problem I'm trying to solve? Now I want to understand the problem. Can I go after a set of open source projects. They're going to help me get, 30% there, 50% there, 80% there. And then I can sit down and write things on top of the open source software, or even modify the open source software to do the 20% that I need. Right? Because that's the question, Thiago. That's what's going to make you an awesome developer, right? Solving real problems that you can get. And you can say, but Bruno, my company never going to allow me to do that, right? My company just want to develop their own software. And then I'm going to ask you, yeah, does your company run things on Docker? Or did they create their own container solution, right? Does your company runs on top of Amazon clouds, or they build their own clouds, right? Does your company use Java, or they build their own computer programming language, right? Your company's already doing that, right? You're already building things on top of amazing things that other people did, right? So go find if there is something like this to really help you advance, Thiago. And then instead of doing 6 months to do something, you're going to do something in 3-4 weeks sometimes, right? Maybe a couple of months, right? And then you're going to get something running, something that can really solve a problem. And then you can improve on that. And then you can even improve on the open source code. And if you really, really, really want, you can embrace the open source code, bring it in home, and now it's your software, right? Because that's what open source allows you to do. Make sense? So that's what I would do, Thiago. I would just kind of take a look and really think about how to do those things, right? Okay, so Rumi says, I've scheduled this session with Rafael. Awesome, Rumi. That's great, man. So Rumi, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to talk with Rafael, right? And everyone that does that. Because Rumi wants to do, to want to buy Rafael's book and want to buy my book. If everyone does that, it's going to be the great thing of all, right? So if you I'm going to talk with Rafael before you talk with him, Rumi, and we're going to offer a great deal for you, right? We're going to think about the way we can really help you together on your career quest, okay? Right? Me and Rafael are going to think about this, right? So talk with Rafael. Once you talk to Rafael, I'm going to be helping you out too. Whatever Rafael does to help you, I'm going to help you too. Okay? All right, Rumi. And that's our appreciation for you to trust what we're doing here. So thank you. And look, guys, everyone else can do the same, right? All of you can do the same. All you need to do is go buy Rafael's book. How about that? You go buy Rafael's book. When you talk to him and say, hey, I was there when Bruno talked about this. So so whatever you guys are doing to Rumi, you can do with me too. Yes, we're gonna say yes. Okay. All right. Good. This follow up to my first question, Bruno. What is the best advice and actions to take to help average Java developer get a software engineer job? Right. There are guys in this situation right now. So, T, I'm not really sure I understand. Can you explain to me a little bit? I mean, look, I don't ever think, T, that you are an average developer. Let me tell you this, T. I don't think you're an average developer, right? I think, T, that you had some amazing experience in your life, right? I don't know what they are because I don't know you, right? But I think you've done things in your life. I think you experienced things that you did, right? So the way you went to university, the way you solved problems, the way something personal happened to your life, right? I think, T, that you have something special, right? The problem, T, is that you don't see that as special. Make sense? You don't see that as special, right? And so because you don't see that as special, T, then what happens is that you are looking around and say, I'm just an average developer. I'm not special, right? And that's the biggest problem that we have, T. When there's this saying that I love, that I like a lot, right? That if you judge people by their capacity on climbing trees, right? The fish will be forever thinking that he is incapable of anything, right? So you are the fish, T. You know, you're being judged by other people on whatever, right? On your capacity to climb trees. And though you think you're an average developer, right? But I don't think you are. I think we are all special in our own ways. Now, the problem, T, is that when we don't see the value that we have, when we don't see how we can help others achieve success, when we don't see how we can change the lives of a company, for example, then we keep thinking that we are the average, right? When we don't see that our ability to swim and breathe underwater can be an amazing ability for that particular company that needs that, and we keep trying to climb the trees, right? Then we cannot help. So then what happens? We are an average developer for people that want us to climb the tree. We're actually a bad developer for people that want us to climb trees. And then we never go after that people that needs to have a deep dive swimming person, right? And so what you need to do, T, is that you need to evaluate who you are. What's strong in you? What value can you bring to the world, right? And once you know that, T, you can find the companies that need you, right? And not Rafael, and not Bruno, and not Rumi. Make sense? And now that's what I do. You know, I look for people that need me, T. I don't look people that don't need me, right? You know, people that don't need me don't need me. That's all fine, right? They might need Rafael, right? That's all good. I look for people that need me, and so should you, right? You know, Rafael looks for people that needs him, right? And look, T, that does not mean that we cannot improve, right? It's not like, oh yes, so I'm this tiny little person here, and I'm just gonna look for people that really need a tiny little person. No. It's the other way around, right? So I want to expand, I want to grow, I want to be better, I want to improve, I want to know more. So I'm gonna look for companies that need this person that wants to improve, that wants to go more, that wants to do more stuff, right? You know, because I'm not this statical person that doesn't grow. I am the person that wants to grow, right? So I'm going to look for companies that want what I'm best at and want me to grow, because when I grow, I do challenges, I'm going to do more things, right? Make sense? So there's one thing, T, that I really, really feel for people, right? You know, Rafael, for example, has this amazing program. It's going to teach you how to be better, right? You know, how to improve, and you know, and he's going to tell you that that you should improve by yourself, right? At home, at night, on the weekends, right? That's one thing that he's going to tell you, because that's going to make a difference. There's a great guy here in Brazil, Shinyashiki, that's his name, and he says success happens at night, right? Success happens on your own time, when you invest your own time. So Rafael is going to tell you to do that, right? And Rafael did that. He's amazing. You know, Rafael is amazing on this, right? He's gonna show you how he did that, you know, and he's gonna tell you that, you know, he spent like 1 hour a day or maybe 2 hours a day doing extra work, right? Or doing stuff, right? I'm not sure Rafael can tell you this better, right? He's gonna tell you to do some extra time. But my question to you, T, is the following. How much extra time can you put on being better? Because that's an important question for you to ask. You know, I mean, you might have family, you might have you know, other obligations to do, right? You know, you might want to be religious, for example, and you want to spend some time in your life you know, reading or going deep in your religion, right? Your life is not only work. Your life is more things, right? So if you decide I'm going to be better, and I'm going to do every day, I'm going to do, let's say, I think that's crazy, okay? I honestly think that's crazy. But let's say I'm going to do 2 hours every single day on improving my career, right? You know, so that reduces a lot the time I can do other things, right? Because remember, 8 hours you have to sleep, right? You know, if you're not sleeping 8 hours, you're probably missing a lot on performance, on your cognitive abilities. you're losing a lot on improving if you're not sleeping 8 hours a day. So you have to sleep 8 hours, right? And then you have to work 8 hours, right? And then it leaves you 8 hours to do what? To do everything else, right? To take showers, to entertain yourself, to spend time with your family, to eat, right? So how many of those hours can you put? Like 2 hours? That's good. That might be good, right? Maybe you can do even more, right? Maybe I've met this guy Rodrigo Moutinho, right? That he would do 4 hours a day, right? Crazy. When I met him, that's the first thing we cut, right? I stopped doing 4 hours a day. Are you crazy? Right? Go live your life a little bit, man. Right? So there's a limit. Even if you decide to do 4 hours a day, that's crazy. But let's say you decide to do that, like Rodrigo did, right? That's a lot of time. But there's a limit. That's all you can do. You cannot do more than 4 hours. Now, let me ask one thing. Let's think about Rafael here, right? Why you, T or Rumi or whatever, right? Why you are trying spending 2 hours a day learning microservices? Rafael is working on a microservice software, right, Rafael? Right? So Rafael has 8 hours a day, maybe 6, right? 6 hours a day that he's being paid to do microservices. So who do you think is going to be better? Right? You spending 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, tired, your family complaining that you're doing the stuff, right? You mad with yourself because you're not having fun, right? You tired the next day because you spent too many hours doing this, or Rafael that's being paid to do 6 hours a day doing microservices, right? So that's the trick, guys. So T says 2 hours, exactly what I was thinking about, right? So you're correct in that regard. Okay, good, right? So T, the best way for you to do amazing work and get very, very good at whatever you're doing, right? To go really, really deep in what stuff is what? Is finding someone that trusts you and hires you to do what you want to do. That's the trick, T. I'm not saying that's easy, but that's the trick. Can you find people that are willing to pay you to do what you want to do? Because then you have 6 hours at work doing that stuff. And then you get home, you do 1 more hour. That's 7 hours a day. And then T that only has 2 hours at the end of the day, right? You're going to go, how much more are you going to grow every day, right? And you're going to be very happy. You're going to be excited about it, right? Because, you're actually getting results out of this. So, guys, I understand that we need to get better. And I understand that we need to put time for ourselves, right? I do this all the time, right? So I spend time, I spend time that I could be spending with my family, for example. I spend time. There's moments in my life that I decided not to watch Netflix, for example, or not watch YouTube, right? I do take time to improve on the things that I want to improve, right? I'm a very religious guy, so I study religion, right? So, I don't expect anyone to pay me to do that, right? So I want to be better in religion. I'm going to do this on my own time, right? I build puppets, right? I build puppets. Let me say, guys here, get a quick hello to my friends. Hey guys, this is Juggy. Yeah, guys, this is Juggy. This is a mascot for Java User Groups. How you guys doing? So good to have you here. Hey, Rafael, good to have you here, man. So long I don't see you.
Juggy. Nice to see you.
So Juggy, yeah, guys, I'm the mascot for Java User Groups, and I traveled around the world to talking to Java guys like you, so to help you get better. Yeah, so that's Juggy, right? Yeah, that's me. So Juggy, do you know that I made you? What? You made me? No, that's not true, man. Right? So I build puppets. Build puppets? No. That's not how it is, guys. I'm a bird, and I was born in Indonesia. Are you born in Indonesia? Yeah, right. I was born in Indonesia. I'm a Java Finch. Yes, Jug is a Java Finch, original for Indonesia, right? But you were born in Brazil, man. What? All right. Okay. So Juggy, I'm talking to those guys here. Okay, guys, very good seeing you. And say hi. Say bye, Rafael. See you later. Bye, guys.
See you, Juggy.
All right. So I build puppets, right? I don't expect anyone to pay me to build puppets, right? Because I do for fun, right? So yeah, you can do things that you want for fun, and you might be a software developer, and you might want to do things for fun, right? And you might learn new technologies for fun because you love that, right? And I think that's all great. You can spend as many time as you want, T, if you're doing something that you find great, that you energize about, that you find fun, that you don't get tired, right? You can spend as much time as you do. Lots of people spend a lot of money on their hobbies. Guys, I have a closet full of puppets. I spent thousands of dollars on the best made puppets in the industry, right? And what I'm doing that for, right? I'm not making any money out of that. That's great. It's great that you guys are doing this. It's great that and you can do that with software. If you're a software developer and you want to spend thousands of dollars being better at software development, that's great, man. You really should do that. You really should go and invest in yourself because that's what you really want. Now, when it gets to the point that you don't want to do this anymore, right? Because you get back from work and you have to, and you say, I have to study for 2 hours, right? And I have to learn because the industry forces me to learn. That's the problem, right? Because then you're not enjoying anymore. Then you're not doing it for yourself anymore, right? You're doing because you're being forced to do, and that's bad. That doesn't give you the energy for you to do that, right? So T, I really think that you should go invest as much as you can, right, in doing all the great things that you want to do. But at the same time, remember this, right? The way for you to be amazing is for you to get hired for an amazing job, right? Once you get hired for an amazing job, then you're going to be amazing because you're going to be spending 6, 7, 8, 10 hours a day being paid to do this amazing thing that you love to do, right? Okay, no problem, T. Thank you very much, right? I think that we cannot fall on the trap that the industry is putting us, right? I actually wrote an article talking about this, right? I talk about learning. You got to learn too. You have to stop learning everything, otherwise, this is gonna kill your career, right? Because the industry, T, has this thing that they call the meritocracy, right? Oh, because the better you are, the more money you get. The better you are, the more you advance in the career, right? So you got to be better to advance. And the reason why the meritocracy message works is because there is a truth in it, right? It's not a lie, right? But it's a trick. It's a trick because the industry doesn't hire you because you're the best, right? Because if the industry, look, the best people in the world, right? They make a whole lot of money on the thing they're doing, right? And most of the best people in the world, they're like probably self-employed. They build their own companies, right? And so because they can solve amazing problems, right? So the industry doesn't hire you because of how good you are. The industry hires you on how good you can solve the problem they have, right? And sometimes, it's you can solve my problem by being an average developer. That's all I need. I need an average developer. That's your question you had before, T. I need an average developer. So I'm going to hire an average developer. And I'm not going to I never need that person to grow because all I need in my company is an average developer. And that person can stay an average developer for the rest of their life, and that's going to be good. I don't care. Right? And so all the work that you're putting in to be better, it's worth nothing for this particular company that just wants an average developer, right? And there are companies that they actually I was talking to a mentee of mine the other day, and he was saying that he went to talk to his boss, and his boss said, "Look, the only way for you to get a raise in this company is if you go to another company and they offer you more money. And so you bring their offer to me, and I can fight internally to get more money for you." And then this mentee of mine, he went to have an interview to do exactly that. And the other company offered him a great job and offered him a great project. And he said, "I'm just going to go to the other company. I don't care what my boss can get," right? The other company is better. Exactly. But why do companies do that? And they do that on purpose, right? Because they want you to leave. That's what they want. They want you to stay as long as you don't want to get more money. They want you to stay as long as they don't have to offer you anything else, right? But when you're unhappy, they want you to leave, because all they want is average developers that they can pay little amount of money and just keep them. And that's okay. Look, I'm not complaining. There are projects that all they need is average developers. And so when you outgrow your project, you should leave and go to do something else, right? And that's okay, right? But I think that you cannot base your career decisions on their decisions. You cannot base your career decisions on what they are doing. You have to base your career decisions on what you want to do. Make sense? Right? And so, and I think I'm out of time here, right, Rafael? So the one last thing I want to say is, how do I know how to grow my career? How do I know where I should be taking my career? How do I know that? Do you want to know how you know that? You go talk with an expert. You go talk with someone that is good at helping you understand your future, is good at helping on helping you see what's possible, right? So how you do that? Go talk with Rafael, right? That's what you're probably gonna explain now, right, Rafael? So you go talk to Rafael. You buy his book, right? And that gets you a conversation with him. So you schedule a conversation with him, and he's gonna help you think about all those things. Think about your career. Think about your future, right? So he just put the link right there, right? So he's gonna help you think about what's the next step you can take, right? And once you think about the next step you can take, then you can just go and do it, right? Because then you're going to be in control of your career. Make sense?
Makes sense. Thanks a lot for your kind words, Bruno. I'm really happy to have you here. And as always, I learned a lot. And for sure, everyone else also learned a lot from you. So
cool.
It's an honor to have you here. And it's great to have you here in this closing session from the Challenger Developer mentorship.
So let's show to the guys how they can talk to you, man.
Yeah, so guys, you can just get the book.
Can you put the book in the screen?
Yeah, I can put the book.
Yes, put the book in the screen. Right. Yes. Cool. Right. Oh, that's the Golden Lessons book.
Yeah, it's the Golden Lessons book.
That's cool. All right. So I remember when Rafael was writing this book, guys, and he was putting a lot of work, a lot of efforts, to be here, right? To actually to create this book, right? He's putting a lot of efforts in writing. There's like 100 things, right? Rafael is like more than 100, something like this, right?
Yeah, there's 100 lessons that will help software developers in their career.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all the experience I've been having in my career, and there's also like the principles I learned by reading other books and like everything I learned in general.
Right. And guys, let me tell you this. You're getting this the book itself is worth, right? It's pretty, so it's an awesome book, right? You should, you could get the book for $10, no problem whatsoever. That's euros, right? 10 euros,
It's
no
Euro,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah, so 10 euros, no problem whatsoever, right? But now if you paid 100 euros for having a career conversation with Rafael, that would be awesome, right? Because look, I think it's totally worth for you to pay 100 euros to someone help you think about your career, right? So I know that one thing that I want you guys to know is that I would say 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 moments in my career where I really did a big step forward, right? I had the help of someone, right? I'm gonna say 10 out of 10, right? I don't remember any moment in my career that I really did like a big step that I didn't have the help of someone, right? So lots of people helping me in my career, and having that conversation, right? Having the help of someone to really advance my career. I know if I look back, I don't know where I would be. Really, I don't know where I would be if I didn't have people helping me out. I would probably still be like just a average developer stuck in some kind of project that I didn't like, right? Because I had plenty of those projects in my life, right? But every time I did like a big leap in my career, I broke some kind of ceiling. I reached some new level. Every single time I had someone helping me out, right? So if I could go back and find that people, because sometimes you can't find, right? You go years and years, you never find the person that can help you, right? If I could go back and find that person in the moment I needed and pay them 100 euros to get me to go to the next level of my career, I would have saved years and years and years of difficulties in my life. So if I could go to Rafael and pay him 100 euros to get to the next level of my career, man, that would be awesome. So it would be totally worth. But see what's going on here, guys. He's actually doing, because you're here all the way to the end of the webinar, you can get this whole thing for less than 5 euros. I mean, guys, instead of going to the McDonald's to eat a burger tomorrow, right? You get this from Rafael. And then you have a 45 minutes conversation with him that can change your life, that can totally change your life. And once you have that, then you tell me if that was better than a burger, right? Because it's going to be worth so much more for you, right? So Rumi says, I've already scheduled a conversation, right? So Rumi said that some time ago, right? This session was great, and he said that, but he says a little later, earlier on, he said, I've scheduled a session with Rafael as advised. Good, Rumi. Good for you, man. You did that, right? And so Rafael, I'm yet to get your email since I purchased it, right? Okay, so he's gonna take a look what happened. That's good, no problem, man. Whatever. So who else has questions about all these, right? So go ahead. I think we still have like 5 more minutes, Rafael, or is this done?
Yeah, like well, we can stay as long as the guys have questions.
Okay. All right. So if you have any more questions, let us know, right? And while you're thinking about your questions, go on that link right there. And I think Rafael is going to put the link on the chat once more, right? So go to that link, get Rafael's book, right? And then we're going to figure out whatever. And me and Rafael, because I love what Rumi is doing, right? Rumi said, I need to take action, right? So we're going to help you take action, Rumi. Me and Rafael, we're going to help you take action. So it's not going to be every day in your life that you're going to get the help of 2 Java champions to really advance your career, right? So really, honestly, guys, it's not going to be every day in your life that you can have that chance, right? And so, and I'll tell you that, okay, we can talk about blogging, Rumi. Yeah, so let me tell you this, guys. One thing that I want to tell you is that, having the chance, the thing I'm going to do with Rafael here, right, for Rumi and everyone else that joins, that buys the book from Rafael, right? We're going to do something that I don't do lightly, seriously, right? I don't do for anyone. Right? I'm going to propose something here, Rafael, that I don't do for anyone, right? And and because the value of what we do here, it's for very few people. Not everyone wants to be top developers. Not everyone wants to be to really take the time to grow their careers, and I understand that. That's okay, right? I have friends of mine. I have a good friend of mine that he left Brazil many years ago, and he moved to the US. And I went to visit him a couple of years ago, and he told me, Bruno, look, you know what? I have a good life, man. I get to the office at 9 a.m. I leave at 5. There's no stress in my job. I only have easy things to do in my job. I make good money. I spend all the rest of my time with my family. So I don't have to learn anything new. I don't have to study anything out of work, right? I'm just living my life. And I think that's fine. That's totally fine. I gave him a hug and said, man, I'm so happy for you. Because you're living the life that you want, right? But there are some people that say, I'm not happy. I want to be better, right? I want to make more money. I want to work on a more interesting project. I want to be challenged, right? And if you are one of those people, you want to be challenged, the best thing you can do is join us right now. Because if you join us, we're gonna really help you be challenged and grow a lot, right? Like Rumi's asking about blogging, right? And what about blogging, Rumi? Is the exact thing that we were also talking before, right? Blogging, Rumi, it's all about position yourself in a way that helps other people, so you can show to other people what can you do for them, right? That's what blogging is all about, right? Of course, blogging is not about you, Rumi. It's about them. It's about the people that you want to help. It's about what they need to improve. It's about what they need to be better. It's about how you can help them. It's not about you, Rumi. There's a saying that I love to say that a guy that I like a lot, Neville Medora, says a lot, is that no one cares about you, Rumi. People that read your blog, they don't care about you. They don't care about what you're writing. They don't care about the project that you're trying to convince them to. They don't care about the technology you're talking about. They don't care about any of that. They care about solving their own problems. They care about improving their own lives, right? So when you write a blog, Rumi, that helps someone else to improve their lives, then they like that because they want to read that because it's good for them. But when you talk about you and you talk about your project, you talk about the things that you're trying to do, and they're not interested in those things, they don't want to read your blog. So that's what blog is all about, Rumi. It's about finding who do you want to help and what is the thing that those people want, right? And how you can help them, right? So when you think about those things, Rumi, you can write a great blog. You can write a great book. You can do a great presentation, right? You can do anything that you want, and you can be a better developer. So here is one thing. That's the thing I'm going to share with my my mentees later today, right? I know it's a schedule to go after later today, right? I was watching this video of this amazing communicator, right? And he says, do you want to be 10 times better in whatever you do, right? Do you want to be a 10 times better developer? Do you want to be a 10 times better lawyer? Do you want to be a 10 times better doctor? Do you want to be 10 times better? Communicate well, right? Communicate well. Because once you communicate, you learn, you improve, you get close to people that are better than you, right? You engage in conversations that will get you growing, right? So if you want that, so I really think, Rumi, that you should do your blog, right? That you should do presentations, that you should go communicate with the people in your team, right? That you go do all that, because the more you communicate, Rumi, the better you become on what you want. Make sense? Right? You get a carpenter, for example, right? You get a carpenter, and he's a carpenter that communicates. he can be a 10 times better carpenter because he communicates. You got a developer. Rumi, I understand that, right? I had a guy tell me this other day. He said, Bruno, I don't want to talk. I don't want to share, right? All I want to do is be a better developer. Okay. All right. But do you want to be a better developer? Do you want to be 10 times better, 10 times more impactful than you are right now? 10 times more respectable than you are right now? Communicate. Yeah, go write your blog. Go present. Go write a book, right? Go help other people. It's not about you presenting, writing a blog, writing a book. It's not about you. It's about helping other people. The more you help other people succeed, the more you succeed, the better you become in what you want to become. Make sense, Rumi? All right, so last chance, guys. Get the book. Send a message to Rafael, and I promise we're going to take care of you. All right?
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Bruno, for answering all the questions from the audience. And guys, if you have any other question, just send here in the chat. Otherwise, I think we are good to close this session. And thanks so much, Bruno, for accepting the invitation. And thanks for staying here even more than what was expected. But it's great that we could answer many questions from the audience and
That's great.
help them.
Thanks, Rumi.
with their
Thanks for the
career.
question, man. The most important thing for me are the questions, so I can help you, right? So thanks for asking the question. So that's great. And
Awesome.
thanks, Rafael. Thanks for the opportunity. Look, I always tell people that I'm not saying this just because Rafael is here with me, because when Rafael is not with me, I say the same thing, right? Rafael is one of my top mentees, right? He really, really grew a lot. He achieved absolutely high levels of success, and I think that the methods that Rafael created for himself to advance all of these, I'm very, very humbled that I was a little bit part of that to help him. But the method that he created for himself to achieve success are awesome, right? I really think that you guys should pay attention, to his book, to what he has to say, because that makes a big difference. Okay, so thanks, Rafael. Thanks for the opportunity for being here, and thanks everyone. Right, thank you all for your questions. They're great questions. I hope that my ramblings and ideas here can help you do a next step in your life, in your career. And if there's anything I can help you, message me here on BR Java Man on Twitter. My DMs are open, and I'm here to help you guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Rafael.
Thank you so much for your words, Bruno. And you are a big part of my success for sure.
Thank you.
So, not just a little.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So, guys, happy to see you here in this Saturday to improve your career. And I'm really glad that have my mentor and very good friend Bruno here with me. It's an honor to have him here to help you software developers. And that's it, guys. I hope, for sure you had a lot of value from this webinar. And thanks so much for everyone for being here. And yeah, thanks, Rumi. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, T.
So Rumi says one interesting thing, say thanks for the time, and I appreciate it. So thanks a lot, Rumi. So that's what I want to tell to you, Rumi. Thank you for the time, right? Because we are giving our time for you, but you are giving our time for us, right? And there's nothing more valuable that you can give someone than your time, right? So thanks very much for giving your time for us. That was awesome, and I'm very, very humbled to be here with you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.